$125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at Sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/MYrath. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are back again. A little bit under the weather. We were under the weather yesterday, under the weather today, but we soldier on, dear listener, because we are about it. This is the Epic Underground.
We soldier on. I was just listening to this song earlier. The Quavs one, Last Stand. Doesn't he say we soldier on in there?
What?
This one?
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll talk about it later. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Let's talk about music. All right. What was the question?
Epic Underground. This is the Epic Underground Alliance. You guys know the deal. You jump on for as little as $1. You get recruited by a alliance leader. They listen to the same type of music you listen to, and that gets the stuff going. Shout out to Lithium Ali.
Today we're doing the EU.
Doing pretty good, Lithium Ali.
Are you wondering who that person is?
I'm not. I know who that person is.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. All right. Song number 1.
We have the EU here with us. The first band is MYrath.
Beyond the Stars. Shout out to Scribble Mation.
Welcome. Okay, Beyond the Stars. Oh, okay, right here. We occasionally choose a member of the Alliance at random to make the full playlist of songs for one of our polls, which we call E-Picks. This song is the winner of Kevin's RJ's E-Picks.
Is this an emergency?
MYrath is a folk progressive metal band from...
Go ahead. Tunisia. Holy shit, Tunisia?
I'm such a terrible reader.
Metal band in Tunisia?
Yeah, the band's name means legacy in Arabic.
Yo, they got this is probably for me, inshallah. MYrath. Okay. Beyond the Stars is the name of the song. Africa Stand Up. I got some people in Tunisia. So yeah.
Will I ever meet them?
I hope you don't.
All right, we've got the lyrics right here, so we're gonna post those on the screen for you guys. I'm assuming it's not in English, so.
All right, guys, here we go.
Along.
MYrath, Beyond the Stars. Let's do this shit. Wow.
What a pick. What an interesting song.
All right. Whoa, that was shout out to the big homie Muhammad, man, but that's one of the weirder kind of
I know.
Strange
no instruments in there.
Kind of laws in Islam. Your boy Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not like instrumentation. So
I wonder why. What kind of person doesn't like instrumentation?
I don't know how deep in this I really want to go, because I don't want anybody to feel like disrespected. You know what I'm saying? But
why? There was a reason he didn't like music?
It just seems to me that relative to that religion, there is a lot of spirituality mixed in with his personal predilections. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So he didn't like instrumentation other than he was okay with drumming. So when Muhammad came in from Mecca to Medina and he was, being celebrated, the kids and stuff, there was drumming and stuff, he was cool with that. But he did not like, shout out to Revo.
I wonder why.
He didn't like he didn't like instrumentation.
Yeah, I wonder why.
It's just
the dog thing, not liking dogs, that I can see. That makes it. There's a lot of people that don't like dogs.
Yeah, especially in the Middle Eastern.
But music?
Middle Eastern context, it makes sense. The Jews,
not a lot of people.
New Testament, Jews didn't like dogs either. Matter of fact, at the end of Revelation.
Yeah, but we can see a reason.
At the end of Revelation, dogs are outside the kingdom. But, yeah, man. But like I almost, anytime I hear stuff like this, or even System of a Down, anything with a little bit of like a Mediterranean flair, I'm always like, damn it. Like, we missed out on like probably some of the greatest music ever.
Well, especially when you hear, like, they have, because they don't have any instruments, they do these things, these like chants with
they're called nasheeds.
Absolutely beautiful. Like, one of the most beautiful pieces I've ever heard. Like, just the way that they, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think because there's no other instruments around,
right.
Like, they really, really hone in on those vocals, and they are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, nasheeds are amazing, for sure. I agree. And I guess you could say, to some degree,
What's up, Big T?
Because they couldn't use instrumentation, they're able to use nasheeds, and that itself is an art form, although the most stringent Islamic guys don't like the nasheeds either.
They won't even use that.
Because obvious reasons. So
well, it's not obvious to me.
Because to them, it looks like you're trying to circumvent, the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we haven't checked out the new Metallica song yet. We will soon. We just had, after Sori came back from leave, we're catching up on our Patreon folks. But yeah, definitely want to check out the Metallica song for sure, because we're going to be able to watch the official video, because Metallica has done a completely 180 from Napster and is pretty liberal relative to relative to copyright
That's
claims.
good. That's
Okay, so shout out to the Muslim world. But this song was really amazing. It was definitely not what I was expecting from a Tunisian band. It was not that it was better than I thought. I thought they were going to be good. I just thought it was going to be like the chorus was definitely like you could tell the Arabic influence and things of that nature. But it did kind of sound like power metal-y, that type of thing.
Yeah, it started out heavy, like kind of right into
started out pretty
then
heavy.
Then we had like some like transitions, some like we were going in different rooms. When I was in college, we used to do these things where we set up each room for like a different place, and then you would go and like experience the different places around the world. It was actually pretty cool. And you actually would have that's one thing you would have really liked about it. Those were really fucking cool.
Really?
Yeah. They would take sheets and put them all up on the wall, so you literally felt like you were going into somewhere else. And there was a group of students working on each room, and they worked on them for months. So you had no idea what they were doing, and then they had this whole setup. Some of them even had like food from the place, and it was a really cool experience. But anyway, you would go in and like, so you might walk in, you're like, I'm in Africa, and then you like walk in somewhere, I'm in China. And like this song felt like that, like it kept like changing. You were like, oh, we're now seeing something else. And like there was one part where you were like, oh, there's like they kind of had like that Mediterranean sort of sound to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like the chorus was in Arabic, and then this is the English translation of the Arabic chorus, which was good job, guys, with the lyrics on the page. As I said, you have no obligation to include the lyrics in the uploads, but if you do include them, we won't be angry at you.
Yeah, I just thought it was a lot of transitions in there, and then it still had like a Mediterranean sort of sound to it, but then it transitioned to kind of like a little bit of a party feel to it.
Yeah, it was like the United Nations. The sound was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Fly me to the sky, let's hide beyond the stars. Drive me to the promised land where hope grows everywhere. Down here, you know I'm just a man, although I give you my best, my heart, my soul, and so much more. You made my dreams wonderful and brighter. You beautified my life and my days. Stay with me night and day. Stay with me night and day. Hide me inside your heart. Let grow my seeds of love. Cry me tears of joy that dries between my arms. Down here, you know I'm just a man, although I give you my best, my heart, my soul, and much more. And then it goes on to that. So lyrically, it pretty much stays
a relationship song, perhaps?
In the same place. I mean, who do you think the song is about? Who do you think the singer is talking to?
You know, to be honest with you, because he said, like, it sounded like it was just like kind of like two regular people. But when he said down here, you know I'm just a man.
Right.
That's where I was like, okay, there's something different here.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't know enough of their stories, like, to know who that could be. Like, it sounded like one of those, like, when you describe, like, the demigods or whatever, like, they're a god and then they come down here. But he can't be talking, like, obviously we have a story of that with Jesus, but he can't be talking about Jesus.
Yeah, but he could just be talking. Well, he's not saying that the God came down. He's just talking to somebody, and he says, "You know, I'm a man down here. Down here, you know, I'm just a man." So he's
as opposed to what?
Well, he's not saying that the divine being is coming down. He's just saying.
I thought he was the divine being.
You're saying the author is a divine being?
Well, not like obviously the actual author, but he's
in the universe of the song.
In the universe of the song, yeah.
How?
That's what I thought. Huh?
How could that be?
Just because he said down here, you know I'm just a man. Like, I thought maybe he was.
The first verse says, "Fly me to the sky."
Oh God. Babe, tell us your interpretation of this song. Fly me to the sky. Okay, I didn't put that into it. So, fly me to the sky. He's saying that when he's down on. Like, he's saying, like, take me up there. When I'm here, I'm just, like, a regular guy. But, like, when we go places, I'm something else. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm just saying that it couldn't be the divine being talking, I don't think, in verse 2. Because in verse 1, he's asking whoever to fly him to the sky.
Yeah.
It just seems like the simpler interpretation would be that it's a man talking to God. Right? He's talking to God. He's saying, "Hey, bring me up to where you are. Fly me to the sky. Drive me to..." Who brings you to the promised land? God. God's the one that's supposed to bring you to the promised land. Down here, you know, I'm just a man, although I'll give you my best, my heart, my soul, and so much more. Basically, he's saying, I mean, presumably, if it is God, I mean, anything that you give to God is always going to fall short to a degree because he's infinite and you're finite. So he's saying, I'm just a man, but I'll give you everything I have, basically. And then he says, you made my dreams wonderful and brighter, blah, 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 blah. So it could, Archero says, it seems like it could double as flowery poetry to a woman.
Yeah, I agree, Archer. I think it could be both.
Or a prayer.
Yeah. I definitely think
I
it could be
cannot
both.
imagine anybody saying this about a woman, though. Like,
Why?
a woman is going to fly you to the sky and take you to the promised
No,
land?
babe, it's like, you know, when people use hyperbolic language because they're like, oh, I would, you know, swim over an ocean of glass to be with you. Like that sort of, nobody's really going to swim over an ocean of glass. And if you did, you wouldn't make it to the other side. You know, you'd be dead before you got there. But I think that to me was just like hyperbolic language. Fly me to the sky. Let's hide behind the stars. Like when two people are in love and there's that kind of explosive time of their relationship, there's that you feel like you're soaring, you know, you're going somewhere, like fly me to the skies, let's hide beyond the stars, drive me to the promised land where hope grows everywhere. Like I definitely see the prayer angle of it for sure, but I also definitely see with the prayer angle, I would say when he says my heart, my soul, and so much more, although I'll give you my best, my heart, my soul, and so much more, in the Christian religion, there's the two greatest commandments, and the first one is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself is the second commandment. So that would be part of, like, in that sense, that would also be part of the prayer one, because, but they're not Christian, so does their religion talk about heart, soul, and mind or something like that?
I mean, there's no like Deuteronomy 6 equivalent, I don't think, in Islam. You know, like that deep, intense, passionate love for God. You know, the God of the Bible is a lot more immanent than the God of the Quran, right? So transcendence is God is above us, he's unknowable, that type of thing, and then immanence is God coming down and relating to his created beings.
Right.
In Islam, obviously, you have to have some doctrine of immanence, otherwise you wouldn't be able to communicate. You know, Allah wouldn't be able to communicate. But he does that mostly through mediaries. So he'll communicate to Jibril, and then Jibril will communicate to Muhammad. Then Muhammad communicates to the rest of the world. So Allah is very aloof in Islam. So you don't have a lot of these like visceral, emotional kind of feelings toward Allah the way that you see in the scripture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say this to a female, although I think that would be blasphemous as hell to say this about a woman. But I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but babe, you know that song? I mean, I'm not gonna put our song out there, but you know the one that says what, like that one?
Yeah.
That one, like that sort of vibe of that song. Fly
Yeah.
to the sky, like that idea, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I definitely, I agree with you now. It's taken quite a few years, but I definitely agree with you now that you shouldn't put everything into a singular relationship. Like, you can't put all that on another person that should belong to God.
Well, this is not like everything, but the everything part isn't the thing. To me, it's just like, drive me to the promised land, you know, where all your hope is. You know, I don't know. Like, that's crazy to me that a person would put that into a human being. I mean, I guess it's probably due to the Arabic that I probably think that he's talking about God, because you know those folks are a lot more God conscious than normally.
Well, when it said fly me to the sky, let me hide behind the stars. Okay, drive me to the promised land where hope grows everywhere. Like,
right.
You know, when you first get in a relationship, like, well, I don't know if you've had this experience or not. When you first get into a relationship and like everything feels new and full of promise, it's almost similar to when you find out that you're pregnant. It's like there's so much hope, there's so much promise here, there's like possibilities are endless. So drive me to the promised land where hope grows everywhere. Like, hope grows everywhere. She is not the hope, but going there and there's hope everywhere. Like, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense to a degree. I just don't know why he would tell her I'm just a man. Well, what is she? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's art,
yeah,
right?
but okay, this is how I would interpret that. Down here, I'm just a man. Although I give you my best, my heart, my soul, and so much more. Like maybe it's. I'll tell you. I gotta tell you that singing Arabic thrown partway through this song makes me feel like it has to have some super deep lyrics. Like it's got to be deeper than what I'm digging at.
The chorus is in Arabic.
Yeah,
and then it gets translated for us. Yeah.
And it's probably because my only experiences with that is your stuff with it. So it's always like super deep stuff. But anyway. It could still be a relationship, like not like relationship with God, but relationship with human beings. If you said, if it's kind of like, how, like some people will get pregnant because they're trying to fix their relationship.
Right.
They'll like try to do something to like whatever.
Which
so
is
if
a
he was
mistake.
saying,
Don't do that.
Don't do that. They add a lot of stress. Especially at the beginning when they're crying all the time. Sometimes like little Seneca, he's crying in his bed and I'm like, little dude, you gotta go to sleep. We need our rest. Especially because we're sick too. Anyway, but so when he says down here, I'm just a man, although I give you my best, my heart, my soul, and so much more, like I didn't know if that was kind of like, hey, when in their relationship, like they're hitting kind of like, and he wants to go fly me to the sky. Like, let's go back to those places. Let's go to those like places where everything's like fireworks and blah, blah, blah. Like, because right down here, like the regular day in, day out, I'm just a regular guy. I'm giving you my best. I'm doing the best that I can, but I can't hit that level like we can when
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see that. I think probably because of the Arabic and it was Tunisia, I probably like superimposed theology on it. And obviously, when you're reading stuff, you're going to read from your vantage point. I mean, obviously you guys know how I am with stuff. Like I like to keep those lines like between God and people very, very distinct.
I think that the older I get, the more I'm like, that's really extremely important.
I just think it just becomes very destructive, man. It can, in my opinion, it can be very, very destructive. So
yeah, I agree with that now.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like that though. Like in a romantic sense, if the guy is, thinking romantically and you're speaking poetically, he could be saying, hey, when we're together at the promised land and, I'm gonna give it my best shot, but I'm just a dude. So
at the end of the day,
be patient with your boy. Like that all makes sense. That all makes it's a good jam. It's a good jam, especially, Tunisia at night is some of the most beautiful starscapes you'll ever see, though. I'll tell you what.
Really?
Yeah. Night in Tunisia, like it definitely makes you feel romantic.
Really?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, Tunisia is a beautiful place. Shout out to those wonderful, beautiful people. Some of the hardest dudes on the planet too live over there too. So shout out to Tunisia. Mashallah. Okay.
I have to look up Tunisia at night.
All right. So what do you got? What do you give this song?
9.8. I like this one. I'll tell you what about this one. I felt like it threw me off because I had literally no clue what I was walking into before it started. I know that we kind of got the little write-up. But a lot of times after I read the write-up, my mind just goes, whoop, throws it off, and I start the song. And then I remember it after the song is done. So I didn't really know what I was walking into. And I was pleasantly surprised, and the song took so many transitions and turns that I thought were interesting that I like it.
Negative Vibe goes, great food there too. Yeah, I'm sure the food is great. I was there for, it's like, oh, eat what the locals give you. Well, God strike, I was sick for like 4 weeks out of the month and a half I was over there eating that food.
So you had a half a week to feel romantic about the lights?
No, like I look, at night, like you could tell, like, oh, this would be nice if we weren't, whatever. But
are you gonna take me there? Ooh.
No, I would never take you to Tunisia.
Oh, really? It's not safe?
I would never take. No, I would never take you. I mean, I guess I could send you down there and you could write me a postcard, but you wouldn't want me to take you down there. All right, shout out to Tunisia. My apologies. All right, well, there we are, dear listener. Okay, so you gave it a what now?
I gave it a 9.8. 3.5 middle?
No. He's saying what's up to
Oh,
Dwayne.
oh.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this a solid 8. Solid 8.
Really? We didn't really. Wasn't that?
I mean, an 8 is a high score.
Yeah, I
an
pictured it to be higher because anything with Arabic, I figured it would have.
An 8 is well above average. We have just begun the night, dear listener.
If there's anything that has Arabic in it, I always feel like you're gonna go. Like if there was a regular Sori, an American one, and then there was an Arabic Sori, I don't know. I feel like you'd pick the Arabic one.
Well, the Arabic one would give me less trouble.
Maybe less fun. Who knows? All right, let's go.
I see. I just missed MYrath. Amazing band.
Usually, you guys kind of this was like starting out with
the last 24 hours have had some of the best villagers of all time show up. We had Kelladros. We had
Pony showed up in here.
Pony. Who did we have yesterday? Tony, right?
Honestly,
DJ Tony.
Yep. That's right. I was so sick yesterday.
A lot of
I just felt like I was in like a friggin' fog. So I know that we've had a lot of like interesting drop-ins from people, but
we're still sick. But yesterday we were really sick.
Yeah, we're definitely
pretty sure we're dealing with COVID here.
See how we're not
in the house.
Everybody's sick. All the little ones. Everybody. But honest to goodness, I have to say, I'm like, look at my family. Because I go downstairs and like I can tell everybody's tired, like everybody's sick of the babies being extra whiny and stuff, but everybody's like kind of coming in and helping out, and like I come downstairs because obviously you're one mother and you've got 7 kids, you can't do everything. I came downstairs and I could see, Zoe, she's holding one of the kids, one of the other ones is holding the other one, like they're giving them like I don't know, it's just a cool
It's a family effort.
It's a family affair.
It's a family affair. Yeah, but we are damn committed.
Yeah, we are.
We're committed, bitches, to the movement. Okay, we shall return. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go. All right, guys, we shall return. Commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes,
Shout out to
dear
Saber
listener.
Wolves.
Yes, dear listener.
All right. Up next in our Epic Underground live stream, we have Epic Underground is... Oh, shoot. I forgot I asked you for that. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Epic Underground is one of our alliances. You want to join an alliance, you can meet other people that are kind of like you and enjoy the same type of music. Just jump on Patreon and I'll lead you from there. You just have to jump on the $1 tier, and then from there just send me a message and I'll lead you in the right direction. You get on Discord, meet other people. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so this is from the Epic Underground. That's one of our alliances. Traveler Fallen Heroes is the name of the song we're gonna do. Many newer bands have been and this is what they have to say about it. Many newer bands have been returning to the sound and roots of old school heavy metal, taking their cues from bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Accept, and others like them. This movement has come to be known as the new wave of traditional heavy metal, and that was the theme of this poll. The winner was the Canadian band Traveler off of their debut album from 2019.
All right, and the name of this song is Fallen Heroes by the band Traveler. Let me get these lyrics here. And we should be off in 3, 2, 1, go!
on. Wow. So wait, what year did this come out?
This is must be recent, right?
This definitely had right?
They said they had it's a new thing, like they're going back to the retro style.
And it definitely had that sound to it. That was crazy.
When I first got introduced to traditional metal on this channel, I was like, damn, like you had to have serious skills. Like you had to be able to sing, and you had to know your skill work on your guitar. Like you had to come with it. Like no disrespect, like I came into metal in the new metal era, and you didn't need to be a very good singer to be a new metal band, and you really didn't need to be a very good guitar player, which is why I probably gravitated toward new metal at the beginning. Which it becomes really hard actually, because the basics of guitar you don't learn when you start playing with new metal, because you're down tuning everything, you're simplifying everything, so you're simplifying, bar chords and things like that. And then what ends up happening is like, yeah, you can play your favorite song and you feel like you're good because you're so inexperienced. And then, I randomly ran into this guy. I was at the guitar shop getting something fixed in the guitar, and he's like, hey, you want to learn how to play that thing? I was like, I already know how to play. He's like, yeah? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, show me some shit. I was like, ba 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 ba.
And what did he say?
He said, you need lessons, he said to me. I said, all right. So I went to his place, and then he taught me major scale, major minor, all that shit. And
oh, you did go?
And then yeah, it was Sean. Shout out to the big homie. We played we played one of his songs. It was by his band Civilized Fascist State was the name of his band. He people actually really people really like that song. We played that during the whole the Rockathon. We were trying to save that person's house.
Oh, and, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We played some, and I mean, he was such a badass on that instrument, bro. He taught me. We had, I don't know, it's probably 2 months together. So I teach him about God. He teach me about guitar, and he was.
How many hours were you guys doing it?
I mean, it was an hour a day.
Oh, that's it.
It was just an hour a day, and he's like, give me the scales, and then I'd go home and practice scales all night, whatever, and then I'd show up, and then he'd yell at me for having poor technique, and then we just run it back again. But a lot of the shit that I do now, like, is based on now, like, I see what he was doing, but like what I'm saying is like now, like you have got to. If this type of metal is making a comeback, you got to be able to sing, bro. You got to hit some notes in this bitch. You can't just go rah, 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 which is fine. Like, that's cool, bro. But if this kind of music is making a comeback,
do you think it's making a comeback, or do you think it's just like a couple bands are gonna try something?
I mean, I don't know. I think the alliance leaders and stuff are probably better qualified to speak on it.
Do you guys think that they're making a comeback,
or
it's making a comeback?
But I hope it does, because I don't think you're gonna have like a dime a dozen of these bands right now, because it's gonna be so hard to get all that talent together in one room. Archero's saying it's a big trend, so I mean. Look, there are certain things that are just going to be evergreen. Like, I feel like Iron Maiden, like, if those guys are fucking 80 years old or whatever in 20 years, whatever it is, like, they're still going to be packing out stadiums. If you look at Iron Maiden, that's one of the things that blew me away about that band. Like, when I first got introduced to them, like, those dudes are running around 55, 60 years old. There's people like Dorian's age in there.
Yep.
Every single word.
Don't you think Pantera would have been like that too, though?
Pantera, Metallica, those types of things. But
like I know Pantera, that's done because of the death of the homie. So.
No, Pantera is like literally on tour like right now.
Seriously?
Like, that's like one of the biggest things going on in metal right now is that Pantera is back on tour.
So then the fact that they're still doing that now, even after they lost their buddy, is like.
They're buddies. They lost a drummer and they lost Dime.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Dime. Yeah.
I mean, two of the greatest at the but the thing about Pantera and Metallica is like they're not known. Well, actually, early Pantera was known for their vocal.
Oh, really?
Their vocal excellence. Yeah, like early Pantera. Phil could sing before the drugs and everything. Like he could sing, and now it's a little bit different. Metallica's not really known for their vocal prowess, but like Maiden was. I mean, vocally. I mean, it's Iron Maiden. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody's, the vocalist has got to be able to bring the chops. If you can't bring the chops as a vocalist now, forget it. If this kind of style is going to come back, and I really hope that it does, man. I hope it does, because it's going to challenge people to kind of it's going to challenge people to rethink how they look at metal and all, and like the next generation of people who are practicing in the garage. Like, you're going to have to find somebody that can actually hit some notes and hold a note and be in key. So shout out to them for that. What did you think the lyrics were about?
Oh, I didn't look at them. Is this the right ones? Sought after spirits, the ones you wish you could be? It's your voice, I still hear it?
Yeah.
Oh. Sought after spirits, the ones you wish you could be. It's your voice, I still hear it. The biggest fan is me. Glorified by my own lies, no one cares until they die. Now they're as big as they'll ever be. Greeting pain with a smile you see. Oh. Cry out your name just like we did again and again. Wait, is this make an idol of a zero? Raise your glass to fallen heroes. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Is this talking about people that have died and basically they don't get their props until they're already gone? Is that what's going on here?
Well, I don't know, because it looks like they
don't get their full props.
I think it's actually the opposite. I think it's about people getting all these props when they don't necessarily deserve it.
Make an idol of a zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Which, you know, it's a fascinating thing, like being backstage at these shows. I remember my very, 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 very first Korn show. Pepsi Arena, April 8th, 2000. Pepsi Arena, April 8th, 2000. And when the curtain fell, and Falling Away From Me was first, because the Issues record came out. When the curtain dropped and I saw Korn on the stage, and I was like 500 feet away from them. I was like in the cheap seats, because as soon as those tickets went on sale, I was there, and they were already sold out. Like, because that was Korn was at the apex of their whatever. But when that curtain dropped, I could still see, you know, I just like completely lost it. Like, it was the closest thing to me, probably seeing Brady run off on the field a couple years ago. Seeing Brady run off onto the field when we were there, and we were so close.
Yep.
Which was a really emotional moment, because there was so much history and everything. Damn, I wish he would have just retired, bro.
Yeah, right.
But like the inevitable sort of entropy that happens when, like, you meet your heroes or what, it's hard to explain, like, because now, like, I'm thinking to myself, I would like lose my mind if, like, I told my 15, 16-year-old self, yo, I got blah 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 blah's phone number.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
So and so gave me a guitar tip. Yo, so and so recommended this pedal for me. Yo, so, like, I would have, like, lost my mind. Like, shit is crazy. And then, like, to see, like, them aging, you know what I'm saying? Like when you really get up close, it's like, shit, man. Like, dude's 51 years old. You know
How does
what
it
I'm
affect
saying?
you? Does it like?
I mean, the fact that, you know, he's a Christian, so it's like, oh, you know, that type of thing. But, like, when I compare, like, sitting down, just chilling at the table and, like, making fun of each other, and he's like, yo, and, you know, like, he, you know, we talk about that situation or whatever. It was just like, it was like, damn, this is like a normal person, man. Like, it's a normal dude. Like, he's not a regular, you know, he's a regular, you know. And it was like, damn. And I remember, like, yo, I had all these people on my wall, you know what I'm saying? And I was sitting there, and I was like, yo, there go Jonathan. And, like, I had no inclination to speak to him. It was just, oh, he's right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we've seen it so many times, you know what I mean? Like, it was just weird, man. It was crazy. And, like we were, like, watching Amy Lee and, like, being on the stage, because we were, like, right there with her. And then she had her little stagehand lady was, like, because she had those wings that she was supposed to have. And I know what it looks like outside because we were there on the stage, so like we were seeing out that way, but like I can imagine like going the fan. It looks so magical and crazy, and the stage production is crazy, but when you're actually on the stage, it's just a platform. It's a wooden platform. They put a little black tarp thingy over it, and that's it. Like it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but it was crazy. That was like. Then we went to see Korn's set, like we left and we went out like into the soundboard because he's like, I really want you guys to see like what the thing looks like. And it looked amazing. It was incredible. What an incredible magical experience, you know? But it was all LED lights and shit. Like it wasn't. So it's a very interesting thing. Like human beings, like we idolize these people and we idolize, but
they're regular people.
Well, make an idol of a zero. Raise your glass to fallen heroes. Like there's very few people that like have that kind of godlike status that like can maintain that kind of aura. You know what I'm saying? Like like it's crazy. Even me, like Tom Brady now, like it's not that he's losing. I don't care. That's not what's happening. Like it's the fact that
he made
that woman stayed with you for that long. She is an extremely high-powered woman. Like, she had a higher net worth than him. Like, that was a big thing. It was like Tom was able to take pay cuts because he was married to her so they could get other people, Tom Brady, on the team.
Right.
And it was like, she did all this stuff, took care of your kids, had a couple kids for you, put her ridiculously amazing career on hold. That she also, I mean, think about it. In order to be a model and a supermodel and all that, you have to work out hard.
I was going to say, she had kids for him too, so that was going to make it harder.
Just like he had to maintain his body to do his sport, she had to work to maintain her body to do her thing. And like, for him to like, let that go and like, let that divorce happen and not say, I'm going to quit in the middle of this season to show you, like, so that to me, like, whew, like, damn, bro, like, it just completely changed how I view him, and it sucks because it's like, damn, dude, like he was the last person that I'm like, like I had that, like, it's fun to have that kind of, but like, because I see a lot of shit that you do, for our family. I'm like, I would never, like if you waited that long. That's the other thing too, is I don't know a lot of women that would wait that long like Giselle did for Tom. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of weird, like talking about it somebody else's business like this. We don't know the inner workings, but
we just know what they put out there publicly.
Most of us can put two and two together. And I'm like, damn. So like you make idols out of people, but like, if you watch, it was funny because I was like listening to this thing yesterday and I was saying like I was off on a trip. It was hilarious because I was off on a trip and them dudes were talking about me every 2 seconds. It was like, Vin this, Vin that, Vin that. And it's like hilarious to me. And I remember thinking to myself, I was looking at the date when that podcast was on and I was like, holy shit. I was remembering where I was and what I was doing. And like, they're talking about me this way. And I'm like, yo, these dudes had no idea at all like what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they had no idea what I was actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like all these people that we like idolize, and was of course it ain't like that no more. Like you know what I'm saying? Not with those people. So all these people you idolize and stuff, like eventually that milk is gonna turn sour, man. Like eventually you're gonna find something and you're gonna be like, damn. Like and it's not always bad. It's not like finding a flaw. Like for example, like with the band folks that we know and that we're friends with, it's not that I found a flaw. Like they're exactly who I thought they would be, even better. To be honest with you, people say like don't meet your heroes. To be honest with you, like the people that I've met and the people that I have relationships with, like they're better than I thought they were.
I mean, I agree with that. But I didn't know these people for I don't know. I mean, I heard about some of these bands from deep, and obviously we were told like these are bad, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, and it was not something that we would have ever listened to. So sometimes, when for me, I'm gonna use Korn. When I go to the Korn show, that's what it feels like. It's like, okay, like here's this band. I'll like think about that. I'll be like, there's this band that I heard about when I was like a teenager. I remember the Korn shirt that you used to wear. That I was like, yo, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which one was that one?
Which was with the kid with the girl, or was it the bodies, the outline kids?
I can't remember. I just remember seeing that it said Korn, and I was very surprised that you were wearing it because I was like, I thought he was a Christian.
Can't be a Christian rocking
and
a
wear a
Korn
Korn shirt. Yeah. But when I always do this. I don't know why I do this, but every time that I'm in for any of the shows, I'll like reverse engineer the thing, and I'll be like, okay, so what were they doing before they were out there rocking on the stage, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's public, so I'm still not gonna say the person's name, but if you know, you know. Like, there's like one person that I'll watch them rock it out on the stage, and I'm like, that person's gonna be in a towel wrapped around their head very soon.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre.
That's so funny how it is.
To like,
That's
yeah,
so funny.
like to see like kind of like behind the scenes, but then at the same time,
Yeah,
like,
he
when
loves
you-
his. Yeah, he loves his towel. He loves his
And-
towel.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, when you meet the people behind the scenes, like, yeah, like you do see their very like human side. Like they're people. They're like us. They're people, you know. But they've pushed their talent to the edge of itself. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's where they're different from us, is because, you know, not like a lot of the people in the crowd are never going to push themselves. I'm not saying that everybody can be a rock star, but everybody has some sort of capability. They have something that they could push to the edge of their to their ability. And I think that some people don't do it because they're afraid of failure. Some people don't do it because they don't think that they can, and some people are just lazy. And, you know, like, there's a lot of different reasons why people won't push themselves to the edge, but I think that there's a certain excitement that comes when you push yourself to the edge, and probably a boredom that follows it. Like, I think the excitement of trying to get there, and then when you finally get there, like, there's probably like a burn for a while, and then there's like, okay, this is life, you know, I'm gonna dry my hair with a towel soon. And
I think that's why it's important for some of those guys to have friends, you know what I'm saying, at the spots, you know what I'm saying?
oh, for sure.
Just because it's
that was my first show was when we went to see Neo, and we had reviewed Niall Viscaris on this channel. We had, you know, interviewed the band. That was our first interview, right? Was with
Zen was our first interview.
Yeah, it was with them. So yeah, I just remember like when we went to the show, because I had never been to a show. I had only seen live videos on the screen. That was the only time that I saw, and they was always like, you know, you guys will send us live videos that are like a packed out crowd. There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I experienced Neo, and I'm like, they're a really good band. Like, this is unbelievable. And then we went to their show, and I was like, I felt like that the place where they had their show at, I felt like that the owners of that establishment dishonored the artists, because I didn't feel like that they had a top-notch place, and I felt like they could do something about that place, and I just felt like that the bands deserved more. Like, I was like, Neo should be on a better stage than this. Like I felt like it should be like,
yeah, it's hard to and I it's funny too, because I remember talking to Zen, and like we were like really excited. I was like, yo bro, blah blah blah. Yeah man. He's like, yeah. No. And then he's like, hey, maybe we should go out for a coffee or whatever.
That's right.
You
yeah.
remember that whole
Yeah, I do.
whole interaction?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like what's going on, bro? But you know, guys like that, like this shit is real. Like they're really genuinely like, I don't want to say miserable, but they're like dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
They're human beings.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
so, yeah. So I just think it's about like not necessarily meeting your heroes, just like that sort of entropy that happens when you know. That's why, like in certain groups, like dudes just they talk about dying. They talk about like not wanting to go home. They talk about like going out in a blaze of glory and whatever. Because now that I look back at it, you know, I'm like, oh, I was just going along with everybody else. But now I look back at it, it was like you don't want like regular life to get you. Like you want to it's like you were saying, like push yourself like to the edge, and then like and that's where you go out. It's kind of like a football player like retiring after like throwing a game-winning touchdown. Like
Yeah, but the rest after you push yourself to that point
in that subculture, like going out like that is it. You know what I'm saying? Like and at the time, you know, it was like, yeah, It's very hard to explain. It's a lot of times, like, I'd look at people and, like, people would be disappointed. You know, they tell you in your U.S. airspace or whatever, people, like, be disappointed a little bit, like, whatever. It's kind of so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain. But, yeah, man. And like, those people, like, I've got a couple people, like, who, like, are heroes for me, but they're frozen in time because they're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they died, like, in the shit. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's almost kind of like a messianic thing where, like, you can't live as the hero. Like, none of your heroes could be alive. You can't have living heroes because that entropy is eventually going to take over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what field it is. Eventually it's going to take over. Whether it's, you know, a flaw gets revealed, like a deep flaw, like Brady's deep selfishness, my perspective on it, or this person was like a god to you and now they're like texting you and you missed their text because you were busy doing something, and it's like, yo, this guy was like god to me. Like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't matter. It's always going to happen. I suppose that's a good thing. And I suppose...
I missed that one. So someone's texting you, and they used to be a god to you, but you missed their text because you're busy doing something else, and it's like, yo, like 10 years ago or whatever amount of time ago.
Yeah.
If I'd have got that, it would have been like the end of the
I'd have
world.
lost
and
my
now
mind.
I'm too busy to...
I'd have lost my mind, yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like, folks needed to talk. So, you know, it's weird. It's a weird thing. But that's what was like going through my head when the song do you think that
was about. I don't think I've ever had like that. Wait, from your like viewpoint on my life, have I ever had it? One of those, like,
yeah,
no.
you had Carter Conlon, all those people. Carter Conlon.
Oh, okay, a pastor can be
Yeah,
considered
all
that.
those ministry people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And you lived far enough away from him to never like.
Yeah, but
see
it is
any
true.
of his, like...
When I met him in real life, though, I was like, really? Because he was preaching and he was so friggin' powerful. But then when you see him in real life, you're like, wait, you're just a regular person.
He's not on a stage anymore. You're
Yeah.
probably eye level with him, you know,
Yeah.
because you're tall for a girl. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. I get the song at 9.3. I really, really enjoyed the song for sure.
Okay, so again, like that. Jeez. It's going back to that original sound, and boy, did they really did a really good job.
If that's what they were going for, they freaking
nailed it.
They
I
nailed
think
it.
I'll give it a 9.5.
All right, dear listener, don't touch that dial. We are coming right back. Fit out.
Sori out.
Go. All right, guys, we shall return. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that
You
off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch. Epic
Yes, dear
Underground
listener.
Alliance.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear
Running the
listener.
stream tonight, we have Dan Swano, Ad Reality.
Dan Swanee.
It's the winner of our. This is the Epic Underground speaking to you
Does
now.
this have lyrics?
They did not post any here,
Okay.
but the music video has lyrics.
Oh, it's a lyric video. Okay.
Okay, is the winner of our Key Instruments poll. Okay, so Dan Swano's Ad Reality is the winner of our Key Instruments poll. For this poll, all song submissions had to feature key-based instruments, such as a piano, keyboard, organ, harp,
Interesting.
discord, accordion, hurdy-gurdy, or others. Swano is a Swedish vocalist, guitarist, keyboardist, drummer.
If you notice me, I'll turn it to an avocado. Shout out to the homie.
I don't get it. You lost me at fruit. Vegetables. What is that considered a vegetable?
What, avocado?
Yeah, I assume it's kind of in the middle to me.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Swano is a Swedish vocalist, guitarist, keyboardist, drummer, and record producer. He is best known as the singer of Edge of Insanity, who you have reacted to before, but whether as a musician or a producer, he has contributed in some way to more than 100 different bands. Wow.
Holy shizzle whizzle.
He loves music. Here's a link to his Wikipedia page where you can see the full list. If you throw a rock at a metal festival, you'll probably hit a band Swano is involved with. This song is from his only solo album, Moon Tower.
All right, here we go, guys. We've got the avocado right here. Boom bap. So
is going on with
that's
this
that's the
avocado?
homie. That's
homie?
Soraya, and that's me. Three avocados in this bitch.
Who's the first avocado?
I'm rocking the colors
Yep,
of
that's true.
an avocado as well. It was meant to be. All right. You are now part of the stream. Excellent. All right, here we go, guys. Dan Swano, Ad Reality. Let's do this shit. Okay.
If I could do it all again. I met you, and I'm so many, only for only 400 alone. Joined by the fusion of my eyes and the face of an angel, which reminds me of her. With you around all the days that we're living, and we had reality now, still standing strong. Still standing strong.
That's the end of the song. Damn it! I wish it was longer.
Yeah. Whew, this was a sad one.
Was it? I don't think it was a sad one, actually.
It had some sad to it, I think. It had some positive to it as well.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it then. Let's hear your take on it. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a random story that just came. I was watching this stuff on tattoos. Oh, I've got a sneeze coming. And this guy apparently, tell me what you think about this.
Of your
Apparently,
sneeze?
no. Apparently, this guy was tattooing like the Alice in Wonderland theme on somebody. And you remember how I'm pretty sure it was the Alice in Wonderland.
How do you tattoo the Alice in Wonderland theme? Is there a
Well,
theme?
it was like, the rabbit is running with the clock.
Okay.
It had like that.
Gotcha.
Did you ever watch Alice in Wonderland?
No.
Okay.
Isn't it a book?
It is a book as well, yeah.
AOCIA. I see what you did there. Go ahead.
Okay, so
AOCIA.
they asked him after, when they went over his tattoo, they were asking him what time he had placed on the clock, and he put the time of his birth, and people were really offended that he did that because they said
Why?
It was really presumptuous of him to just put his birth time on somebody else's body without asking them if they had a significant time they wanted on that clock. I thought that was true. And I also thought...
Oh, so the tattoo artist put his own birthday on the other...
His own birth time on there. Because he didn't think... the person didn't specify what time they wanted, so he just went ahead and put his own birth time on there. But obviously, you can't just... And then the horror on the person's face, when they realized that's what he did, they didn't consult them first. It was very weird.
That is kind of...
Anyway, the only reason I thought of that was because they said that this is the album cover is his eye, and it just made me think, that's something I would do. I'd put my eyeball on an album cover, but I could see somebody saying, that's a bit presumptuous to see that we would want to look at your eyeball up close like that.
Well, I don't think it's presumptuous. I mean, you're buying an entire record of me.
Yeah. It just made me think of that story. Anyway, so I thought that it was a sad song because, but it is a cool album cover. Let me just put that out there. Time is ever changing. I will never have it back. Okay, I have to say the reason that this song probably maybe troubled me a little bit more is because I personally am at this really weird transition in my life. It's kind of I'm not at the beginning of the transition. I'm a couple steps in. So I'm happy about that. That's why, Michelle, when you said in your message, hey, are you guys happy that I'm not, having that same anger toward God anymore? I was I've kind of been on that journey with you because since the beginning of this channel up until now, there's been a long kind of transition that's been taking place in my relationship to God and everything. So when he says time is ever changing, I'll never have it back. Sometimes I wondered if the best was yet to come. That part kind of hit me because, that was one of the things we were talking. Actually, I guess it was yesterday's reviews, and we were talking about relationships and stuff and how, when that past relationship, the significant relationship that you were talking about yesterday, you said when that one ended, how that felt, that was the ghost fire thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, and I couldn't say it yesterday, I rewatched the video, and you can't even really tell that I'm emotional about it.
I could.
You could because you're sitting right here, but I don't think that you could really tell in the video.
Yeah.
But I was really holding in a lot of emotion. But when for me, when that relationship ended, that would have been kind of considered like a ghost fire relationship. When that one ended, I still felt like something better was out there. I still felt like I was dealing with a shadow or a type of what was yet to come. Which I still think is true, like, for sure.
Wait, say that part again?
You said that when that relationship was ending for you, like, that was a really difficult time for you.
Yep.
Mine was also difficult, but I didn't feel like, okay, like, this was my thing and I missed it. Like, I'm not going to have that. When that relationship was ending, I was like, the fact that this relationship is ending is evidence to me that it's a type or a shadow of a relationship to come.
Oh, okay.
That had more significance and meaning to it.
I got you.
Which is exactly what happened.
That's pretty crazy to think that. Were you 16?
Yeah.
Shit, I wasn't thinking that at all.
Yeah, 17, 16.
I wasn't thinking that at all. That's crazy that you have that kind of mindset at a 16-year-old. I mean, it makes sense to me. I would love to do a little Dirk stream, just putting that out there. But go ahead, keep going.
So when it was talking, like, at the beginning, I was like, okay, sometimes I wondered if the best was yet to come. And, like, when I was a teenager, like, I was always looking to the future to, like, oh, the best is there, the best is there, the best is there. And now I'm like, wow, like, I'm not even close to 16 anymore. I'm very close to 40. And it's like, okay, so how much, like, I always thought that the big, like, okay, get married, having kids, like, all those things, or, like, if you were going to do something really significant for, like, you know, ending world hunger, or, you know, taking care of kids in an orphanage, all those things were, like, big milestones, like, really, like, crazy things that could be in your future that could be really great. But now, like, at this age, like, I find myself kind of, like, teetering between, like, is there more great out there? Is there a lot more to discover? Like, or is this all that there is? But I do think that there is more out there. But I guess in my most cynical moments, I'm like, well, this is it. Like, because now, you know, like, the big ones are done. Like, we're married, we have kids, we've done that. Mm-hmm. And then, like, we've done this channel, and, you know, we've started a business, and we're doing, like, all these crazy things. Like, are there other things out there for us to kind of conquer and kind of experience? He said, I can't deny if there are moments I regret. So much I'd do different if I could do it all over again. And, like, that is kind of, like, I guess the theme of this, like, kind of, like, portion of my life is, I'm like, I don't like regret. And I think that that's something that all of us, well, most of us can relate on, that, like, we have regrets of things that we would do differently, or what would you tell your younger self and all that. But there's no going back, there's only going forward. But I will say, like, I've started doing, you know, Vinny does those man studies with the boys. They sit down and he teaches them different things, and I've started doing that with the girls. And there is there's a lot of layers to it, but one of the layers is that there's a level of satisfaction, I guess, that comes with talking to somebody who's that age and being able to say, hey, here's some things I wish I had known when I was your age.
Yeah, I bet.
It kind of, like, eases, I guess, the pain of the regret, is because you're like, okay, well, if I had known this, I might have made a different decision. Well, if they know this, will they make a different decision? Maybe, maybe not, but at least they have the information, so they can say, well, I did know that. Mm-hmm. And I did know the outcome was going to be negative if I continued on in X, Y, and Z behavior. Mm-hmm. But then it kind of sounds like it went into a relationship song, like a romantic relationship. I lost the world and I didn't find it until you found me. Gone, but it came back in the wake of your smile. Now I'm stronger, growing the soul of a man, and I know my heart will never be alone again. I've got a life and nothing will make it go away. I guess we glorified the world around us as we went along the way. Just really, I like the way that they're wording their relationship. What were you going to say?
No, it is interesting when he talks about, sometimes I had wondered if the best was yet to come, because, you know, not that high school relationship, but that previous relationship, I was always like, oh, next year will be better, next year will be better. You know, I mean, sure, he was dealing with some significant mental health / I mean, we had a family member commit hottie-cotty. I mean, that's going to be bad for anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, and that situation pretty much killed our relationship too. Like, our relationship pretty much died with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as that goes. But I was always like, oh, next year it'll be better, next year it'll be better, next year it'll be better. Because you have to, when you're in a bad situation like that and you're committed, because I was committed, I was like, I wasn't going to quit. Like, no matter what happened, no matter what she threw at me, I was going to stay. But then, I would look down the corridors of time and be like, and I would hear like, yo, you're going to be dealing with this in 10 years, bro. You're going to be dealing with this in 20 years. It's going to be like this in 30 years. And you like always have to like try to tell yourself like, no, actually it's going to be better, blah, blah, blah. And you try to maintain faith, all that jazz. What's up, Joe? You try to maintain faith and all that stuff, especially as a Christian and shit. But, unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. So I could relate to, what's up, Joe? I don't know what post you're talking about. Yeah, so it's a weird kind of situation, as a Christian, like having that belief that things are going to improve, but the things never improved. And it's fascinating because I'm really trying to focus and be like as honest with myself as possible. I don't think that I ever really correlated it with my relationship with God. Like, yo, if God was real, how come this is not changing? It was just one of those situations, you know what I'm saying? I lost the world, I didn't find it until you found me, gone, but it came back in the wake of your smile. Now I'm stronger, growing the soul of a man, and know my heart will never be alone again.
Yeah, but I feel like that, and I know that this is not a super common experience, but when you have like a belief in God that like it's not going anywhere, like for sure that he's there, like you may get very angry with him, or you may be very hurt, or you might not want to talk to him, but he's there. Like there's no denying that. And I think that when you're in a situation like that, then that question doesn't even pop up. Like, if there's a God, like how come I'm in this situation? You don't have, there's no denying that there's a God within yourself. Like, you believe that, and you believe it to such a degree that in that moment it doesn't even.
Yeah.
Well,
it's one of those things where there was not a lot of help, and half the reason there wasn't help was because I wasn't going to say anything to anybody.
Yeah, he didn't.
But the other reason
I was hanging out with him for years. Their entire family, everybody, a bunch of us were all hanging out. Nobody had a clue until God told me what was going on.
Yeah, but like, I wasn't gonna. The other reason there wasn't much help was because, to be honest with you, like, the type of situations that we were dealing with, people didn't want to deal with them. That's just the long and the short of it. They wanted a nice cookie cutter answer. Like, she's a lot better now, but it kind of, she had to lose all that shit, basically. It's kind of like a rock bottom experience. It's one of those things where the irony of the whole thing is like, I kind of had to be the sacrificial lamb to get her to where she needed to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's just one of those things. But the thing for me that hit me about the song was that, this verse right here was kind of like the narration of our history. I lost the world, I didn't find it until you found me. Gone, but it came back in the wake of your smile. I'm stronger, growing in the soul of man. All that shit. Like, it was like a movie script. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the bad shit was like a movie script. Like, if I sat down and told people, you'd be like, get the fuck out, that shit didn't happen, bro.
Yeah.
But then, like, if somebody would have told me, yo, blah, 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 with you, I'd have been like, no way. Like, I would have been like, impossible, no way, no how, no way. I'm not even gonna even pretend something like that could ever happen. But here we are. So
that's crazy.
That's one of those things with life, man. Sometimes, things don't turn out the way, I just think a lot of it is perspective. A lot of it is like how you want to look at it and what you want to focus. Yeah, I talk a lot about like whatever you choose to focus on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe that those years were like wasted. It was 15 years. Like, I don't believe that those were wasted years. So I just think that they were, it taught me not to take shit for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you get into this kind of mode where you're like, if there's a good time, you're like, oh, it's a good time. Like, we got a little break here, so let's just enjoy the shit out of this good time because we know it's gonna get real hard and real ugly real soon. So that time period taught me to enjoy the happiness to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? So there you go.
Wow. So you did?
So I did what?
I don't think I'd be able to do that if I knew like it was gonna get like for us. He talks about it later in the song. He talked about the snow. I think right. Where was that? Winter. Oh, right there. One day, reality was all there ever was. I ate and drank your beauty and breathed the air you had breathed. Then came the autumn and the winter, like before. Dreamland turned to real land, and we faced a new frontier. We lost the world. Sometimes we hold it, but it's slipping away. So he talks about that autumn and winter, and we've discussed that a lot. It's weird because in my previous relationship, or any relationships I've ever had, it didn't have seasons. There were no seasons. This is the first relationship that I've had that has like seasons. And I don't know if that's because...
So what was it? Was it just straight?
Yeah, it was pretty straight.
Just boop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
But like, okay, so for instance, like for us with our autumn and winter, like when we're in an autumn and winter, like I know that there's going to be a spring that's coming around the corner, and that spring is always really good. So, and the summer is really great too. So when I'm in those phases, like I remind myself that it's gonna circle back around. But when he is talking about it here, and when you explained your thing, it's kind of weird because it seems like, well, your spring and summer was, it sounds like it was very short, and then it would just loop back around to the winter. Almost
it
like
was about 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes, and then it would go back to we'd be back in the gulags.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if I'd be able to, like, I don't know how many iterations of that I could do without.
It was very difficult. It was extremely, extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
You know, probably took some years off of my life. Who knows? Who knows? Where'd you get the song? This is my favorite song of the night so far.
Really
we got one more vote. We got one vote. Okay, these people on the side are trying to get you to run for president and shit. They're like, Vin will get her the black vote.
You give me the black vote. That's hilarious. I would do something like that if I had him behind me, and then I'd be like, "What should we do in this situation?"
Just kill him.
Because I just kill him. I'd be like, "Wait, no, wait." Because I might not see all of the angles of something.
Yeah. That's my solution. That's my solution.
No.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'll be like, no. Okay.
Yeah, I see you'd be like, "Oh, we can't kill her."
First I'd laugh, and then I'd look at your eyes, and I'd be like, "No, wait, we can't do that."
Yeah, we should.
First I'm like, "Oh, he's joking. We should kill everyone." Wait, really?
No. This is my favorite song, though.
Okay, so what do you give this
So
one?
far.
What do you give it?
This is a 9.8 for me. I really love the song. Really, really love the song. They really did a good job. It's very touching.
I mean, in the
very
end,
touching, Middle Earth. I've learned a lot from you as well, my brother. For real. Go ahead.
In the end, I think that they kind of came to it like a. I think it was a good, solid song because he talks about that. Then he talks about having like too many cooks in the world. Then he says we're Siamese children related by the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can tear us apart.
Yeah.
And then by the end, he's saying that they're still standing strong with you around all these days are worth living, and when we add reality now, we're still standing strong. So they grew from where they were before, because before reality threw them right off. Now reality comes in and they're still standing strong. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, I really like that. So I'm 9.8. What do you give it?
Would you say 9.8? I'm gonna give. I tell you, I give it a 9.8. What's wrong with you?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? I didn't hear you? Okay, that's it. 9.8s all around. We're coming back with the final song of our sick Epic
Robert.
Underground stream.
Yes, sirree,
that
Robert.
Was a double.
Yeah. Pony's Native American, so
yeah,
we get that indigenous vote, inshallah.
Yeah.
She was going around falsely claiming
A little
was
drip
doing
in the
that
bucket.
Elizabeth Warren shit. So hey, if Elizabeth Warren could do it, she
What
she
was
wrote
my
a
mom?
whole.
My mom was 0.2.
Elizabeth Warren wrote it. That's like
0.02?
500%.
No, was it
that was like
0.02?
500% more than Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren wrote a Native American cookbook. She wrote an indigenous cookbook from the dishes of her people. So hey, listen. There you are. Okay, we're coming back. We got one more song, dear listener. Fit out.
Sori out.
Go.
A cookbook?
Yeah, she wrote a cookbook.
Boy,
I'm
would
not
you like
even-
to see what she put in there?
Yeah, that shit was like in the New York Times and shit. Like she did a whole interview, all types
No.
of shit. Yeah. That bitch is corrupt as fuck, bro. I couldn't believe it. And you know who broke that story to me was Michael Moore, who's like a hardcore he's like the neoliberal. Like he's like the captain.
Is that
of all
older guy that?
Yeah, the fat guy. He's
always saying something.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Remember, he's the one that was saying he was going to talk to Iran.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember, he's
The
we
mendacity.
killed
I mean, it was
Soleimani.
so.
We murked Soleimani, and then Michael Moore from his little basement podcast was like, "I'm reaching out to Iran." Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yes, he told him to wait because he was gonna reach out.
He said, "Wait, please
Just hold
don't
off
do this."
and-
He said, "Hold off." I mean, shut the fuck up, Michael Moore. What you on, boy? All right, we got one more song.
We'll be right back.
One more. Stupid. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that
can
off.
also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Ben and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
Buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Unfortunately, we have reached the end, my friends.
That's okay. It's still a full song ahead and a full review.
Yes, that
I'm
is
gonna have
true.
you read this.
A full song ahead and full review. No, I'm not reading shit,
Oh, you
bro.
showing people?
That's your job. That's your
Yeah, I
job.
know, but this is gonna be weird.
We got the big homie Michael Moore right here. Okay, so
Yo,
that
have you
was
guys
him.
seen Michael Moore?
That
Doesn't
was
he
him.
look like
that
him?
was him negotiating with
Dr.
the Iranians
Nefario.
not to ban us, not to bomb us for killing Soleimani.
Oh man. Okay. Con Bard Une Corne de Branches. This is why I told you to read it.
Aren't you like part French?
Babe, you keep bringing it up. It's such a sore spot.
You were like the
literally-
worst.
If everything
You're
like
the worst,
if everything Jamaican had been stripped away from you except for the color of your skin, and I kept bringing that up and
Wait,
being
but
like,
the color
wait,
of my skin is Jamaican?
sure.
What the?
You can keep that.
The ignorance! It burns! The color of your skin is Jamaican.
No,
Are
you can
hearing
keep that.
this
You're
shit?
not gonna be French or you're
Are
not
you
gonna,
hearing this
You
shit?
can keep the I'm telling you, you can keep the color of your skin.
Hey, Via, are you hearing this?
Why?
Shit?
Do you know
She
white
said the color of
Jamaicans?
your skin.
Do you know
Yeah.
white Jamaicans?
Hell yeah. I knew Asian Jamaicans. There's mad Asians down there in Jamaica.
No,
I told you about this.
I didn't know.
Heavy accents, all type of shit. I told you this. Yeah, one of my friends. Actually, no, I beat the hell out of that kid when I was.
Oh no. More violence. Okay,
That's what it's about.
so yeah, I don't know anything about my French heritage. Nothing, and I'm probably predominantly French.
Freedom fries, bitches.
All right.
Freedom Fries. Yo, people are
Oh,
funny
the
today.
lyrics are here.
People funny as hell today, bro. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's in the water or something. Shout out to Michael Moore.
You needed it too.
Who is this guy? Dr.
see.
Nefario? Is that his name?
Dr. Nefario. And babe, you've never seen the character. You should see him talking and stuff.
Holy shit.
Anyway, he comes up with these horrible ideas. Well, no, not really. He misunderstood.
No, negative vibes. Sicko was a good one too. From Michael Moore.
Oh. All right.
I just think his podcast is nervous, but he's done some good work. He's done God's work. All right, go ahead. What you want?
Okay, so we got the lyrics right here. Did you get them down?
Yeah, I got him.
All right, we're about to go into this song. Let's do it for the Epic Underground, whose leader is Archero.
All right, let's do it. I thought there was going to be a little summary thing, but
Yeah.
there was.
Oh wait, here's the link to the official video in case you would like to watch it on the side. Okay, then yes, we will. I'm sorry. For our local legends poll, every member submitted bands from their own state or country, and as near to their own hometown as possible. The winner was Conbard from Geneva, Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Okay.
Shout out to Switzerland. All right, you ready to do this shit?
Yeah,
Let's
do it.
go. Do we have
Oh.
the translation for what that song title is? What the song title
Title:
means?
A Wreath of
A Wreath of
Branches.
Branches is the translated name of the song.
Okay,
Let's
and when
do
you're
this
ready
shit.
to hit it, I'm gonna play the official over here.
Yep, I got you. Go.
Okay.
You know what? Damn, here we go. Here we go. A lot of nature scenes, guys.
Oh wait, what happened?
All right, I am going to
You're doing
take a risk and play the official video. It just looks too beautiful.
I agree.
It looks too beautiful to just. I'm gonna try to do it. We're gonna try to do the actual official video, guys, because it looks like it's gonna be one of those epic, really beautiful videos. Middle Earth, pray for us that we don't get a copyright strike in this bitch.
Yeah, I know.
That would be bad. That
Yeah.
would be bad. Thanks, Randy Williamson. Okay, guys. We try to come through for you guys. You guys know the deal. One of the reasons that we do the Patreon and all that stuff is because we don't stop the video midway through and comment so that we don't get to avoid the copyright striking and things of that nature. You know, they demonetize you and stuff like that, but that's okay because we got that covered on the Patreon side and all the rest of it, so everybody wins. Sometimes when we play the video all the way through, the record label will actually suspend the stream, so if you see the stream get suspended, just wait for 2 minutes, we'll be back. I think we'll be fine. If they suspend the stream, it doesn't give us the copyright strike. It only gives us a copyright strike if we like keep
it
pushing.
going.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. Here is the official video, A Wreath of Branches. Let's do it. Shut up. Look at that beautiful. Look at that beautiful skin.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, can you do something here? So it's out.
All
Babe, look
right.
at those pictures I sent you.
And we did
See some
not.
similarities there? I'm picking up patterns tonight. Sound of Music, right?
Okay.
What? You don't think so? Put both of those pictures up on the screen. Look at those mountains. Of course, the mountain picture is not as great.
Sound of Music. Okay.
The Sound of the first one is from this lyric video, and then there's the Sound of Music thing. It just reminded me, like the fields and the mountains and stuff, kind of had
so
the same.
that's that, and then
That's just remember the mountains that you saw in there.
and then there's the Sound of Music.
Yeah. See, there's a girl and mountains and the fields.
You guys decide. You
What?
guys decide. If
Do you
there's
guys
any
see some
correlation.
similarities?
I don't see any similarity, but hey.
What do
it's
you
all-
mean?
It's all
if you backed
gravy.
up and saw those mountains. Anyway,
All right.
the
only similarity is that there's a girl with mountains.
no, and she's in the dress, and she's the bluish type of dress.
Okay, so go ahead. What do
I'm
you
holding
got?
up the lyrics right now.
I already have them. You're so late.
Yeah,
Burning like
well,
a flame, this young bird falls, embracing the pale heat of my body that succumbs. I assemble his shroud of tears and sorrow, burying it in a field alone, surrounded by uncertain branches. The sun drowns in my grief, ending up in a precious box locked by a makeshift key, and never again will it see the moon. I will only have memories of this bird singing and flying. I would like to see it as in the melting snow of yesteryear, vibrant and majestic in order to blossom. Its mausoleum will be marked with a melancholic ornament, a symbolic wreath of branches of a life devoured by the past, forever engraved in my heart. The nature settling down around me, accompanying the end of my afflictions, the culmination of a life of disarray, the calm will eventually attest. This guy can write his ass off. Holy smokes. You know, French is like one of them romance languages, so like I wish I
is?
like really knew what? French?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean,
I guess because of what it sounds like,
isn't
it
it
doesn't.
Paris.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
the city of love or
Sounds
whatever.
a little
Hey, there's no dinner today, is there?
more soup.
Okay.
But if you want something different, I can make something different. I just gotta know what you want.
It's all good. Okay. No, what were you saying?
I don't even think there's any soup left. I was gonna have to make some more, so I can make something else. That's what I'm saying.
It's all good. Okay. So first of all, the video was beautiful. A lot of people were saying that it wasn't necessarily going with the
Type
tempo
of,
of the song, which
Yeah.
I definitely see that for sure. But I did still think it was just a beautiful visual, and that's why I wanted to take the risk. So I love that. I love the folky stuff, man. Those Europeans really figured that shit out, man. Like, they're really like in tune with the land and the ground. I love the close-ups of like the little moss and stuff on the. I think it's probably you. Like you're a very like earthy
I miss the earth.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that when we go to that little patchouli store that you don't buy one of those dresses. I'm always surprised that we walk out and you don't get one of those dresses.
Oh well, I already told you.
The little pockets and
Yeah.
shit, so you can carry all your little potions and
Once
and,
our
witchcraft.
business completely takes off
Witchcraft
and we
and evil.
moved, oh yeah, oh hell yeah. I'm gonna have different stations in my closet, different things that I, put that outfit for that day, that for that day.
If
It's
Kai,
not gonna look good on me. I know that. That's the thing.
what'd you say?
I already know that those dresses, they're not built for someone like me. They don't look good on something
What do
like
you mean
me.
they're not? You always say it. What are you talking
I'm
about?
telling you,
Ross?
it doesn't look good.
What do you mean
I'll
it doesn't
put
look
something
good?
like that on for you and you'll see. It looks like a meme gown, like the way that it just like hangs off my body. It doesn't look good.
Okay.
But I feel like that kind of look is not looking to look good. It's just like, this is a very practical, comfortable outfit, and you can experience the
Yeah, that's what
whatever.
they put the
like,
little. They got those pockets.
Yeah,
so that
some
you have
pockets
your
and
little
you
potion. You go vidi vidi vici and shit. Heal people.
yeah,
Then they burn you at the stake.
There you go.
For your troubles.
there you go.
Yeah, that shit was ignorant as hell, bro. You're
Which thing?
burning all those poor people for
Word.
giving us medicine and shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I know.
If I was God, like, man, y'all are done, bro. Just get it. Just you guys would be in the ghetto of heaven. Come on, get out of here.
It's weird because so we've been looking into. God, I've got to clean in this studio.
People are weird,
Okay,
man.
so we've been looking. Vinny's been like on this every time he gets on another like shtick to like explore. I'll get like the that sounded so weird. The exhaust from it, like he's going and I'll like like when like the exhaust from the back of a vehicle.
Come up with a.
I know
You
like
couldn't have come up with a
why I
better
laughed.
freaking metaphor than the exhaust.
That's why I laughed.
The exhaust
Okay.
of Vin's. Oh my god!
Oh,
Go
that
ahead,
was such
continue.
a terrible okay, but basically what
Ridiculous.
happens is he's like aggressively watching all these different things, just like taking in tons of information, researching things. He'll have like something's playing on the TV, he's got his phone, and like sometimes I see him like looking up the information that they just gave to verify that the person's correct. You know, he just it's all up on 10. And I'll catch like some of the stuff. I'll be like, maybe I'll be doing something, or I'll be laying there and like my mind will come in and out of the topic, and I'll be like, oh, so he's on this thing like with aliens right now, and it's really, really pretty crazy, like the stuff that you'll like. But that kind of the more I'm hearing about the alien stuff, and the more I'm like, these poor people from like a long time ago that were having these experiences, and people like just turned on them. They
Fairies
lost
and
their
elves
jobs.
and
They
all
like
types of shit.
I'm talking about people who specifically said, "Look, I saw something."
Yes.
And like now, there's more information coming out, and so it looks like perhaps they did see something in the
all
sky.
that shit.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not saying whether or not it is an alien or whether. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it is bizarre.
Yeah.
People are seeing things, and that some people were treated like really badly.
Yeah.
And it just shows you like how like small thinking people can be to like something scares them and then they decide to kill people.
Yeah, dudes' wives are divorcing them, all types of shit.
Wait. Oh yeah, because the alien thing, yeah.
But like Michelle was saying,
Maybe
this
it
is
scared
this is a funeral song, which
Oh,
makes
really?
a lot of sense that this would be like a song in a funeral ritual. Because the person dies at the end.
I thought it was a journey. I thought
see
it was
right
a
there, I
journey.
assemble his shroud.
Yeah.
That's almost a universal thing. You get put in a burial shroud, all that, like janazah. When the Muslims, they'll pray janazah over you. You know.
Yeah, but
put
it
you in
says
a
I
burial
assembled
shroud.
his shroud of tears and sorrow.
Yeah, but that's the poetic side of it is that his shroud is shrouded in tears and sorrow, surrounded by uncertain branches. The sun
Oh yeah.
drowns in my grief.
The sun drowns in my grief, ending up in a precious box.
Right.
Locked in by a makeshift key.
Right.
And never again will it see the moon. Oh
Right.
my word, that's painful.
Right.
I will only have memories of this bird singing and flying. I would like to see it as in the melting snow of yesteryear, vibrant and majestic in order to blossom.
Yeah. So it's tough. Rest in peace to the homie.
The mausoleum? What is that?
Mausoleum. It's a
Mausoleum?
big fancy. You know, like in India, those like
Oh.
giant building. And
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is just a grave. You know, it's like
Oh,
it's like
no.
that.
Yeah, you told me that before. Tell me
Yeah.
that again?
I think like the Taj. I think the Taj Mahal was actually just a big giant mausoleum.
What do you mean? Like the catacombs are underneath it? Or what do you mean? Or are you saying it was a burial
No,
site and they built
mausoleum.
it on?
It's like a mansion. It's like a mansion grave, basically. If you combine both ideas, that's what a mausoleum is.
But it's big? Like, you know how we have like those above ground graves that are like they're small? This is
Yeah.
like a big one? Yep, that's exactly. I thought it was this.
Yeah, it's a freestanding building. You know, it's constructed as a monument enclosed in the internment space or burial chamber of a deceased person or people.
Or people.
Yeah. See,
Yep.
There. Yeah. See, Taj Mahal.
Oh, okay.
That whole thing is just. It's just for somebody. It's just a dead dude.
No.
Yeah.
One person?
Yeah. Shout out to the Taj Mahal.
No, for real, one person?
I don't know if the Taj Mahal is one person, but it's an above ground pretty much. But you know, like this one is spectacular. I mean, this is probably like the most spectacular mausoleum ever. But
Isn't that crazy though? Like sitting here, how many? You don't know who's in there.
nope.
And I don't know. Does anybody on this channel right now put it in the comment section if you know? Like this person constructed
but
that entire
millions
thing
of
to be
people-
remembered.
Millions of people in India know who know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know, but something that big, you'd think that more people would know. Like we know what
Millions-
we've heard of the Taj Mahal, but we don't know who the person is that is in there. I just think that that's crazy.
Yeah,
like
Taj is for two people, or at least ended up being for two people. That shit's crazy. But that just shows you like the relationship we have with the concept of death, man.
Yep.
You know, it's
And wanting to be remembered.
yeah. It's a very I don't know if it's wanting to be remembered or we want to remember the person. I don't know if the person who built the Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
The story of the Taj Mahal was a guy lost his wife, and then he was so grief-stricken by it that he built the Taj Mahal for her. I think was the original. So I don't know if that's a legend or whatever. So
Wow, well, that sounds like a really cool story. Must be a legend.
well, I'm sure you'd like it, but like
Middlesex, I thought it was built for the dude's wife.
yeah, dude, yeah, someone and their wife,
Jeez,
emperor or something, if I recall. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's all of us have different ways of trying to face the fact that we die like right in the face. Shah Jahan and his wife. And from the dust you are, to dust you will return. All that shit. Like everybody has to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that I've been looking at, when you start from the perspective that matter is fundamental, then these things become a lot more tragic.
Yeah. But
when you start from the perspective that consciousness is fundamental, which obviously I do, which is really interesting because there's a placebo effect where your mind generates some sort of psychosomatic reality, right? That's what the placebo is. Or in dreams, people do have the sensation of physical touch in dreams when the entire thing is completely mentation. We know that. You are not really a UFC fighter, or you know what I'm saying? Like, or even in a nightmare, like, a couple days ago, like nobody was really trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we have examples of mentation that produces, quote, physical sensations. And so if you start with the concept, it's hard because I've been studying this kind of hardcore probably for the last 2 years. And so, like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, I can speak extemporaneously on it. And so, like, I'm testing it out in a hostile environment. Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to test this in a hostile environment, and these people are going to throw everything at me that I didn't see before so I can plug the holes. That's usually my methodology. The problem is a lot of these dudes have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
The environment is uninformed.
They just, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, shout out to my internet atheists, but God Almighty, they're very like constricted in what they know. They just assume physicalism. They just assume that everybody and every scientist is a physicalist and believes that matter is fundamental. So when you try to explain it, you got to kind of like handhold them, and then when they get the idea, like there's so much work to do on it that it's hard to have that conversation. But
can't you find like an atheist who like sees what you're already knows what you're talking about, or is already familiar with the topic? Like, you know, like Steve, we've got like the Steve, you got somebody.
Well, yeah. He is, but like I gave him Prakash's mathematical formulas for it. He's like, he's like, I will moderate that debate for you. Like, that's kind of out of my depth right now. And I was like, nah, bro, I didn't even want to debate with you. I just want to talk to you about it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, give me some time to you know what I'm saying, look at it or whatever. But it just changes a lot of things. Like, if you start with the concept that consciousness is fundamental, then it changes a lot of things. It changes your perspective on what you think life is. It changes your perspective on what you think death is.
I think it changes the level of importance and stuff too.
Yeah, and then the entire world, kind of like what Jacques Vallée was saying about the UFO phenomenon. The entire world becomes metaphorical.
Yeah.
I was just listening on this other show with Kurjai Mongol, and I forgot the name of the problem, but there's this other scientific problem, which basically is the symbolic consistency problem. Namely, why do certain sounds always sound the exact same?
Yeah.
If they don't really exist.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if a color is an optical illusion, which we know is true, no matter if you're a physicalist or not. That's my question. Why do they stay?
I usually talk about taste.
Why do they remain consistent?
Yeah.
There's no real answer for that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but what about taste too? Like, how is it that I can
one.
cook a meal the exact same way, and one time it tastes gross and sometimes it tastes good?
Right. That's the qualia.
Like, why?
Yeah, that's called qualia, and that's a subset of the hard problem of consciousness.
Yeah.
That is obviously impossible to explain from a physicalist standpoint. But
wait, impossible from a physicalist standpoint?
Yeah, they've got no issue. They've got no way of determining qualia, why sugar tastes like sugar.
Oh,
You'll say things like, oh, it's hitting your taste buds. Yeah, but why does that flavor register that exact way 100% of the time?
Yeah, but if you're
Like,
a
why is that?
materialist, wouldn't that be easier to explain? It's just like, this exists, and it exists in this taste, and that's why you're experiencing it like that?
Qualia is relative to experience. So there.
Oh, I was just making that, like,
currently
the
there's no
quality of it. What is
physicalist qualia.
Yeah, I know, but I just was like translating that as...
So currently there's no physicalist explanation as to why sugar tastes like sugar.
There's no physical?
Physicalist or materialist. But if you start
Yeah.
with the concept that matter is fundamental, that's
Right.
part of the hard problem of consciousness that they can't explain. Right? So, like, why does chocolate taste like chocolate? Why
Yeah.
does a headache taste like headache? People say, oh, you have nerves. Yeah, but why are you experiencing your nerves that way? There's no way to explain that from a physicalist standpoint. And since the hard problem of consciousness has been codified, they've literally not been able to move an inch toward that answer. And so, obviously, the physicalists are going to say, well, we'll figure it out in 2 years. And then the idealists are going to say, you'll never figure it out because you're starting from the wrong presupposition. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Disney's due west
Yeah.
and you start due east, it doesn't matter how awesome your car is, you're never going to get to Disney World because you're starting from the wrong presupposition. The direction is that way.
Yeah, but
So-
and that's almost like if you look at worldviews or the way that belief systems are, and like ours starts with human beings being made in the image and likeness of God and having just that value. Every single person, every person listening, everybody, everywhere, people in the comment section, whatever, everybody's made and everybody has that same value. Your value doesn't increase or decrease based on, you know, what you can or can't do in the world. Like, you just have value just on the basis of being a human being. And if you don't have that, let's say somebody doesn't have that like, let's say that's just whatever, it's on the side, and then you start from saying like the material stuff is not important or not really there. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody could get really cold in their dealings with human beings.
Material is important in the sense that from an idealist perspective, material is still important in the sense that it represents something, just like in a dream.
Right, it represents something, but is it
Right.
really bad to, you know, like, couldn't somebody get really like off? Or is there something about that belief system
What do you
that
mean,
I don't know?
could somebody get
So
off?
like, if you're looking at everything as being like, this is a projection of something else,
No, Joe, color is not agreed upon at all. As a matter of fact, most scientists today believe that color is just a hallucination. I mean, that's part of the entire discussion. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I might have already figured out my answer, but I was asking if you look at it and nothing is, the whole physical world is not really there. It's like a projection or whatever, however they want to word it. Could you get really off in the area of human beings because maybe would it suck away your empathy towards suffering if you're like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, because if you start with the concept that consciousness is fundamental, then
no, you wouldn't be starting with that, right? Does a physicalist start with that? I thought they don't, and that was the issue.
No. Physicalists start with the presupposition that matter is fundamental.
That's what I'm saying. If you have that mindset, couldn't somebody get really off with that mindset in regards to human beings?
What? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, either I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, or I don't know. Okay,
Most
If a
people are
physicalist-
most people are physicalists.
Right, and they
most people
don't
believe
start
matter
with-
is fundamental.
right. So if you believe that, couldn't somebody get really off in that belief system as far as, like, if you're saying that the physical world, let me just like dumb this down to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. So the physical world is primary, this is where it started, and everything projects out of that.
Right,
Everything
and
comes from
then
that.
they have to somehow derive consciousness from.
Right, and that's
unconscious
their
matter.
issue, is that they can't.
That's part of the hard problem of
We
consciousness.
have a hard problem of consciousness, right? But if you start from the other one, that you didn't say intelligence. What did you say?
That
Did you say that consciousness
is fundamental. Right.
If somebody starts out with consciousness is fundamental, you have to say, where is this consciousness from? Who is this consciousness? Whatever. And you could find your way to God from that. But if you're starting with, and obviously from that, you know, we believe that God says everybody has value. If you don't start there and you don't start with there being a mind behind it, and you just say that the physical stuff is all that there is and that's the most important.
Well, obviously, you have no way of saying that a human being is particularly
valuable.
important. It's just,
right,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you could essentially just, like, you know, dispense with other people's sufferings and not care, because it's like, well, I mean, That's what's happening there. But there's something else going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you saw that in communist Russia when they had entrenched state atheism. And once you have a state that that is aggressively physical or atheist, then you send people to gulags, all types of shit. People essentially become machines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, there's no philosophical grounding of saying you shouldn't treat people like machines.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, Joe, I'm not talking about, like, colors being accepted and green. I'm talking about the science. I'm not talking about, like, how
Everybody
it functions in the real
green is
world.
green.
I'm just saying, like, what's happening right now, especially, with the death of local realism that just recently happened, so Einsteinian physics and things like that, like, as the man said, like, all that shit's, like, out the window. Right? So, dude just won a Nobel Prize and all that shit. But that's why it's so hard to have those conversations, because they're so recent and things like that. But yeah, like, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, which one is recent? Sorry. Go back to that.
Local realism is
recent?
pretty much kaput.
Oh.
Yeah, local realism.
And is local realism, what is that? Is that physicalism? Is that the same thing?
Well, it's a subset of physicalism. It's basically that, like, you have an object like this, and then, it's relative to the speed of light, and Einstein's theory is relative to relativity. But the point that I'm making is that, like, all of these things that you look at, if you say, okay, all of this is just a product of mentation, then you have to say, just like in a dream, if you were in a dream.
When you say mentation, is that thinking? What
like,
is mentation?
Yeah, like a mind, like a projection of a mind. Like, you're interfacing with projections of a mind. These things are not actually here. In the same way, in the same way that people are looking at us right now.
Yep.
Whether in their screen or on the TV or their computer monitor, but we are not really in.
Right, we're not in the room with them.
We're not in the room with them, and we're not in that screen.
Right.
We're not in the screen.
Right.
The screen is made up of billions of pixels and et cetera, and essentially light and all the rest of it. Like, we're not actually in there.
Right.
But if a person didn't understand that kind of technology and you looked at us, like, if you brought somebody from like 500 years ago,
they think we were right there.
They would assume that we were trapped in this little, that we were located there because you could see colors. None of these colors are actually here. We're not actually here. These are projections that are, right? And so if a person's having a dream and you start trying to interpret that dream, everything in the dream becomes metaphorical. You say, okay, there was a tree there was this, there was that, there was somebody shooting at me, and then everybody's like, okay, why though did he have that dream? Because we assume that the dream world isn't really, none of that shit was really real.
Right.
They'll say you had an experience, and your experience and what you felt was real. But all the shit that happened around there, none of that was actually, quote, real. You were dreaming it, right? And so, so when you look at the real world, the outside world that way, then all of this shit is metaphorical, and then you start to find meaning in everything.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of this tree? What's the point?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this video, and I'm watching her do some very simple thing that people have been doing probably for thousands of years. But it carries a certain type of import to it. You know what I'm saying? That's different than just, this is a, tree, whatever. But like I said, it's difficult to have these discussions because all of us start off with a physicalist mindset. And we were all taught that way, and we all have those assumptions. These people never even, a lot of them, you saw when I put the question out there, like, are you a materialist, whatever. Look, people had no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, in 10 years, probably we'll be able to have those discussions, but...
It's so funny to see somebody respond back like they think you're an idiot. But, like, when you know what the question was, and they didn't have the answer, and, like, the way that they answered means that they don't know.
Well, I was kind of being a dick, because, honestly, if I would have just said physicalist instead of materialist, they probably would have had a better shot at it.
You did that on purpose?
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Babe! What? Yeah, but don't you want your answer? Didn't you want to hear what they had to say? Or you just was in some kind of a mood and...
Well, part of it is, if you understood the question, it's a kind of a weeding out process, because if they understood the question,
okay, that I can
then I could actually have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like when we dream, we automatically go to this idea of, okay, what color was it? Like if you're trying to interpret a dream, you start asking all these detailed questions, and then you start trying to connect what those images and what that scenario actually meant in the quote subconscious. Right, so like we've got this idea of like you've got this overconsciousness, and then you've got this subconsciousness, and so in a dream, your mind, which is still an unbelievable idea to me, your subconscious mind is trying to communicate something to your regular conscious mind, but your regular conscious mind is asleep, so your subconscious mind goes, aha, now's a chance,
my opportunity.
and then it fills your head up with all these metaphors that you call a dream, so that when you wake up and talk to a psychologist, you talk about the trees and this and this and this and this, and then it turns out that you had the same tree when you were a kid, and your dad did some horrible shit behind that tree, and so now the tree stands for this horrible moment, and blah, 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 and now you've got this giant breakthrough. But then, now that we're awake, we're like, okay, now we're in the real world. So all this shit here is actually, like, actually real and actually here. And you go, well, how do you know it's here? It's like, well, I can touch it. It's like, well, couldn't you touch a shit in a dream? Well, yeah, but that wasn't real. How come? Well, it's a dream world. Well, how do you know this is real? Well, because it's the real world. It's circular reasoning.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but babe.
But it becomes a lot more fun when you're like, okay, all this shit is metaphorical. Like, all this shit stands for something. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. What were you saying?
If you stay with that standpoint, do you think that a dream is, obviously for all of my life I've always thought that a dream was just you fall asleep and it's basically a story that's happening within your own head. But do you think that there's a possibility that it's actually like you sleep and you experience another dimension? Or do you think it's just all happening in your head? It's such a weird question, because what is the head? You know what I mean? Like, where is this
Hold
happening?
on. Michelle had an interesting... I will tell you, I had my own paranormal as a little girl. My family was still in Ireland the night my mother's father passed from cancer. I had a run-in with what I would consider the banshee. The next morning, I told my mother what I saw, and she told me my granddad lost his battle with cancer. So at 5 years old, I had my run-in with the banshee. That experience at 5 years old was when I knew the stories of the ancient god were real. Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that people have those experiences in dream. Like there's been like millions and millions of stories where a person's consciousness goes to another person to let them know I'm dying or I'm dead or I'm safe or whatever. And the U.S. government, this whole thing with remote viewing where people can basically disconnect their consciousness from their body and then travel some other physical location. Like the CIA has like our people can feel how they want to feel. It's just like with the guy with the NDEs, the near-death experiences. And he said, show me the time that there was a mind that operated without a physical brain. And I said, sure, here it is. 35 years of NDEs. And the guy, who's not a Christian at all, says, brain matter is not the explanation for this. So there's no way to explain all of these NDEs from a physicalist perspective. And the answer, obviously, is to, well, then get rid of physicalism. Obviously, that scientist was like, well, we're not doing that. We just have no idea what the answer is. It's like, okay. So there are so many examples of this where but we're convinced that because I can feel this thing that it's actually here. And in the same way, if you brought somebody 500 years from now and said, listen, they're not really trapped in that screen, that entire thing, they're not really talking to you. They're literally talking to a piece of iron and some plastic or whatever. They're not talking to you.
Right.
Like, I'm not looking you in the face right now.
Neither am I.
But it would be impossible to convince somebody 500 years ago that that's not what's happening.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When in reality, like, they would think I'm in the house with them, and they would think I'm looking them in the eye, when in reality, I could be thousands of miles away from them and just looking at a circular dot. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so we got to kind of catch up with the technology and with the science, and it's got to get mainstream before people start really thinking it. But like as Kurt Jaimungal said, like it fucked him up. I mean, he had to go to counseling.
Oh man.
When he ran into Kastrup and you could actually see it happening. Like I remember watching that like a year and a half ago. You could see it happening with Jaimungal.
Oh wow.
Because he was
Which
MIT.
one is he? The younger one with the dark hair?
Yeah, it's an Indian dude. You know,
yeah.
Indians are all engineers, and you know, he does a little physics course or whatever for dumb people like us, but you could see his face, like,
Really?
it was bad. And then, yeah, and you know, Hoffman, you know, like, he needed, like, serious counseling. He had a hard time with it. Because it fucks up. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
You know,
I
fuck
agree.
you
Just
up.
like, wow. Because he didn't have any... He didn't have, like, anything to kind of ground him. Mm-hmm. Because your entire worldview is changing, like, literally, wow.
Yeah, Luminous Night, that's a very interesting... when I had kidney surgery, the anesthesiologist turned my conscience off pretty quick. That's actually up for debate, especially in the field of anesthesiology. The question is, what is the difference between being completely unconscious and forgetting and completely forgetting?
Right. Yeah, that's what you said, yeah.
That's the question. So it's feasible that you actually were not completely unconscious. You just don't remember.
Yeah, but no. So, then how would
I'm
people
telling you
fight them?
that is well, no, because you're sedated. There's a difference between being completely
That's
sedated
really
and unconscious.
traumatizing.
Right?
That's such a traumatizing.
There's a massive So it is
Okay, if that's
it's
what's
not, It's not
happening-
even a debate in anesthesiology. They do not know. They cannot tell you definitively that you're completely unconscious.
Holy shit! If that's what's happening, then people would be getting traumatized and not necessarily knowing why.
Yeah, but the issue is, if there was a way for you to completely forget something, this was part of the whole eternal sunshine of the spotless mind thing. If there was a way for you to completely forget an event, what is the difference between never experiencing it and never remembering it?
Because-
there is no difference.
No, I disagree, and I'm disagreeing with experts right now. Is what you're telling me?
Okay, what's the difference between
I'm gonna
never
tell you.
experiencing something and never remembering it in this moment right now?
Because I think that if, like, for instance, if you don't remember that something happened, wait a minute, are you saying no part of you remembers, like your body, your cells don't even remember?
Nothing in you that remember. Remember.
Because
I don't
I'm
believe
saying,
that
like-
you actually have a body or cells. We're talking about consciousness.
Like, for instance, you know how somebody will not remember something happened to them, and then all of a sudden, like, let's say some really horrible event happened to them, and there was a blue train that was in the room, and they don't know why, but they have a very strong aversion to blue trains, but they don't remember the
But
event
that's
that
a
happened.
subconscious. That's subconscious. What I'm saying is, if I could completely wipe that from your subconscious as well, what would the difference between be not experiencing it and not remembering it? What would the functional difference be for you right now in this moment?
There would be no functional difference, I guess.
That's the
it
problem.
depends. Like, wait.
That's the
could
issue.
your body remember? Like, could you feel like stressed
could
out
your
about
body
something, but you don't
remember?
know what's going on?
How could your body remember? Your body doesn't have a memory. Only
Well,
conscious.
I don't know.
Only conscious
I don't
beings.
know if stuff imprints on your cells or anything. I don't know anything about that.
Only conscious beings have memories. So even if you say stuff imprints on your cells, all you're doing is applying consciousness to cells. That's still consciousness. If I could completely wipe an event out of your consciousness, from your conscious and your subconscious,
Yeah.
what's the difference experientially between that and the event never happening in the first place?
There's not. There's no difference.
So that's part of the issue with anesthesiology. That's part of the question. Is this thing just a hyper sedative, right? Because
But your heart rate would increase, right? Wouldn't your heart rate
not
increase?
necessarily, no. Not necessarily. And the other thing is you know,
That's really
physiological.
weird.
Well, that's the thing is how can what, like, for example,
I'm sorry if
Like-
anybody's going into surgery after hearing this conversation. My God.
think for a second. Like, I don't dream, but
Right.
scientifically speaking, most of us dream every night. But I say I don't dream because I
You
don't
don't
remember
remember it,
them.
yeah.
So what's the difference between not dreaming and not remembering it? That's the discussion in anesthesiology.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Although I will say with you, sometimes you wake up and I'm like, he must have had some really bad dreams. And I'll ask you sometimes, did you have any dreams? And you'll say, no.
Well,
But I'm like, nah, there was some dreams for sure.
For example, if you see somebody out cold, right? You go, oh, they're unconscious.
Yeah,
But people are dreaming.
yeah.
Okay, so that's a form of consciousness.
Yeah, oh no, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so when we say so when a person is under in anesthesia, they're unconscious, but they don't know that that person's completely unconscious. That's the issue in anesthesiology. You don't know that. Then they go, well, you know, I woke up, blah blah blah, and they don't remember what happened. Yeah, they don't remember what happened, but that doesn't mean that they were actually unconscious.
Which, if you think about it, whenever have you ever been under for one reason
Yeah.
or another? You know how, like, you don't remember what happens partially after when you wake up? Like, there's a lot of,
Yeah, it's a lot of gaps.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that would fit that theory. That's weird.
Well, and as Dwayne is saying, I'm indigenous. I believe in otherworldly influences as forces of nature. We're open-minded to the paranormal and well, correct. And now what's happening is that you've got these very credentialed scientists going, well, then you got the whole DMT situation, and it's like people are having tactile experiences in DMT, meaning they're feeling things and interfacing with these beings and having conversations with them and touching things and tasting things.
But again, that's like a dream.
They're tasting things. You've got 5 senses operative in these DMT, but they're in their room. You didn't go off anywhere, and there was nothing in your mouth, and you weren't touching anything. So all of these things around you that you just assume because you're awake and you're now part of the real world, none of that shit is, in my view. But anyway, that's what the song was. That's what the song was doing, and I was thinking about.
I wonder who this band kind of like named their thing after, because it says over here,
well,
a symbolic wreath of.
I don't know how, Michelle. I don't know how important your granddad was to you. I do see a couple good reasons why your grandfather's consciousness, however you phrase it in your in your tradition, I could see why your grandfather's consciousness would try to come to you and let you know that he's gone on to another phase of experience. Mm-hmm. Which is what I'm calling death now, because ultimately all of the what we're calling the world is really a ground that reveals. It's about self-knowledge. It reveals our motives, and it's the experiences that we have in this quote physical world are just metaphors to draw out what we actually are and who we actually are, so we have a better self-understanding. Mm-hmm. So that when we go into the next stage of experience, we understand why we are where we are and we're doing what we're doing. So you need, that's what I'm saying, like this transitional period is very important. Just because I don't believe any of this physical stuff is actually real, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not important. I believe it's all important, mm-hmm. in the same way that I believe that all the details of your dream are important, because I do take the subconscious theory of dreams to a degree. Mm-hmm. Right? I do believe that there are degrees of your mind that are trying to communicate with other parts of your mind that are at war with each other. But again, that's also something that cannot be explained from a physicalist presupposition. That's impossible. You got two minds fighting with each other, and one of them is waiting till the other one goes to sleep so that he could push forth his agenda. That's insane.
Pretty bizarre.
It's insane. So yeah.
So I said at the end of the song, like, isn't that their band symbol, the wreath?
Yeah.
It says in this one, a symbolic wreath of branches of a life lived, devoured by the past, forever engraved in my heart. So
look at
I'd like to know
Max.
who they
so much
that
science for Christian people like Vin and Sori. A little bit surprised. I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a compliment, Metalcore Max. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I was just curious, like, I wonder who the band was kind of like inspired by, because that's their band symbol is a wreath, and it says in the song, a symbolic wreath of branches of a life devoured by the past, forever engraved in my heart. Yeah. So it's like a symbolic wreath of branches, correct? Yeah. Correct. Right? So, like, and then you saw that at the end and stuff, so I wonder who the person is that wreath of branches to this band. Yeah. Yeah. And no. I don't believe that the tree makes a noise when nobody's there. I don't even believe the tree is there when nobody's there to observe it. That's like, Einstein and Crick were walking down the street, and Einstein looks at Crick and says, "You really believe the moon isn't there unless we're looking at it?" And Crick was like, "Nah, I really don't." And it looks like Crick was right and Einstein was wrong. So. Oh, they had that conversation?
Oh, yeah. They had that conversation. It was a real problem for Einstein. He really didn't like the implications of, quantum physics at the time was kind of like the, cutting edge, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it wasn't like solidified. I mean, it's not solidified right now, but it wasn't what it is now. And at the pop level now, you've got regular, uneducated people like myself talking about quantum physics and all that. But like at the time, yeah, that was it troubled him a lot.
Which one of them got troubled?
Einstein did. Yeah, the implications of what they were seeing at the quantum level was extremely troubling. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, they don't talk about that in school.
Yeah, because when you get down to that quantum level, none of that shit is here. And then you've got the whole principle of the observer and all that shit in physics, and it's like, okay, is there an ultimate observer? There's a lot of real issues, man. But once I looked at Prakash's math with Hoffman, that was it for me. Because like once you put that down to a mathematical formula and it can't be successfully contested, you got a problem. That's why I sent that to Steve is kind of a famous atheist dude, and he's like, he's like the philosophy of mind shit that's out right now is crazy. The local realism stuff, this shit is crazy right now.
We're in a lot of trouble. That math equation where it's the math equation.
It comes down to it's a 22 page.
Oh, I was just meaning the little that you gave me at the end. It's 22. You should have seen your eyes when you were saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think Dwayne is right. The trees are beings as much as we are. Y'all choose to ignore it. It's like a superiority complex. Yeah. That's Don Hoffman's conscious agents theory. Don Hoffman believes that trees, rocks, whatever, all those things are collections of conscious agents. And so what you're seeing when you see a tree or whatever, or as Bernardo Kastrup would say, these are effects across the dissociative boundary.
Wait, they're what?
So like when you see brain waves or heartbeats, those are not isolated, physical, self-existent ontologies, physical.
They're connected to someone or something.
They are what you're seeing is the reverberations of a mind.
Yeah.
So a heartbeat is not an actual heart that's like self-contained. It's what a person's mind looks like, or the mind at large looks like when it's doing something. It's just a ripple of the mind at large. So everything you see in the physical world, wind, heartbeats, brain rate, it's a ripple of the mind at large, as Kastrup would say, or a collection of conscious agents, as Don Hoffman would say. They're not the thing in itself.
Yeah.
Or as Kant would say, the thing in itself. In the same way that people are looking at us on the screen right now, and everything that I'm doing, all the things that you're seeing right now, like for example, like my hand, right? Like none of that shit is actually real. It's a reverberations of my conscious decision to do X, Y, and Z thing. So there you go.
What do you think about this?
It sounds like animism, but anytime you have a theory of anything, of everything, you're going to be able to encompass kind of all worldviews, and that's kind of the idea.
You know that verse that talks about Christ being all in all?
God being all in all, yeah.
Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Well, I haven't really,
because the all in all, like what you just said, like there's the mind at large,
yeah,
and then everything that reverberates from the mind at large.
Well, yeah.
So he's.
The crazy thing is I haven't really married a lot of the science stuff with Christianity. Like, obviously, there's like.
Oh, really?
I'm just looking at the science, like, but obviously, it's a simple step. Like, for example, if you say that consciousness is fundamental, then obviously you would have to have a singular consciousness. Okay, and then if you say, okay, that consciousness then generated all of these quantum fields or whatever you want to call them. Even if you say quantum fields, that's the smallest level of whatever. It's still generated from a mind. You still need a mind necessary to generate all these other minds. So obviously that's going to lead you to what we call God. I don't see the difference between Bernardo's mind at large or Hoffman's original conscious agent. There's no difference. They just don't want to say that it's God because science, whatever.
Yeah.
But so I haven't really connected any of these thoughts to Christianity things. Like people are saying, oh, that sounds like animism. Yeah. If you have a collection of conscious agents that make up a rock, that means at some level that rock is a consciousness and that they chose to be that for reasons unknown to us. Right? So in Hoffman's math, Hoffman literally has trillions of dimensions capable. So so now what you have to do is come up with a different set of math. You guys should check out the document. The document's called Conscious Objects. It was July 2022.
How do they find that?
By Don Hoffman and Ketan Prakash. Very, very interesting stuff. Okay, well, when looking at the concept of nothing being real apart from projections from a consciousness, it's important not to slip into nihilism because it's an easy conclusion that nothing matters. Yeah, you could. Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues that Kurt Mungle had, and that's why he had to go to therapy for it. And I would I would just simply say that just like in a dream, when we wake up, when we know that the dream wasn't real, we don't say that because it wasn't, quote, real, that it didn't matter or that it wasn't important. In the same way that if you read a story and you're engrossed with a story, we know that those characters aren't, quote, real, but we do know that the story was still significant. And that's because the stories are metaphors of something. And the dream is a metaphor of something. So all I'm saying is just take it another step further, and what you're calling the real world is metaphorical of something. And all of us know this. I'm speaking to you in words right now. What is a word but a simple verbal metaphor? All these things are metaphors because I'm communicating something that's non-physical. If I say I love you, the term L-O-V-E and those sounds are verbal metaphors of something much larger. We know that. So I'm looking at the Panthers uniform right now, and there is a picture.
Shout out to Chad who got that for
There's
Sheila.
a picture of a panther. Well, is there a real panther there? No. That picture of a panther represents a panther in nature. Well, why did they call themselves that? Well, they call themselves that because it's a metaphor. We are the Carolina Panthers. We're sleek, we're rough, we're tough. So the entire name of the team is metaphorical. So my whole thing is we're already halfway there anyway.
Yeah.
We already
have
know
spaces for that.
If you stop and think, you would know that the vast majority of your life and the things around you are metaphorical. Why do you stop at a red light? All of these things are metaphorical. So I do think you can fall into nihilism if you think that way, but I also think it can open you up to some really cool ideas. Like, okay, so if consciousness is fundamental and not matter, then who is that consciousness? Why are we here?
Yep.
Why did the consciousness go through so much trouble to project all of this? And what is the metaphor? What is the metaphorical import of a tree and all these other things? Like, there's so many things that we can, especially as artists and musicians, which we all are in the metal community, like, we know, like, for that entire video, like, there's a reason they showed the trees and everything like that. That's supposed to communicate something deeper than just a tree. You're not saying, oh, there's a tree, and that's the reason they put that in the video. No, there's something else going on there. Like, obviously they were trying to communicate some sort of oneness with nature and all that, which is what the tree represented, and then taking the branches and turning it into a crown. Like, all of these things are meant to be metaphorical in the video itself. So all I'm saying is the same concept in the video is the same concept that's happening outside the video. That's all I'm saying. And you can take off from there into some really cool ideas.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's exactly right. Luminous is exactly right. Dreams are real. They're not physical, but they are real nonetheless. Correct. But what happens is when you come from a physicalist assumption, when people say real, they match real and physical as the same word, right? And as Luminous is saying, well, at least in dreams, that's not true.
So
we know dreams aren't physical, but we do know that they are real. Why are they real? Because you really had that experience. And that's what it's about. I'm a conscious being having experiences. That's what's real. So I don't need this microphone to be physically here. And you don't need me to be in this box. You're experiencing me. I'm experiencing you. My consciousness is interfacing with yours. Your consciousness is interfacing with hers. We're interfacing with the consciousnesses that put this music together, which is also another illusion. So that's what's real. That's what's ultimate, is conscious experiences. That's what's ultimate. The physicality of it is not what's ultimate, and it's not what's necessary, right?
Okay.
What's necessary is our conscious experience of one another.
So if dreams are real, they're just non-physical, then from your worldview, should somebody, like, what does everybody know? Repent? Or so should somebody, like, ask God to, I guess that would make sense then. I was going to say, is it morally wrong to do wrong things in dreams then? But according to what you just said, it would be.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be.
Because but then you'd have to ask yourself, why did I have that dream that I did that wrong thing or whatever? Mm-hmm. And people would say, or Freud would say, or even Jung would say, that's your subconscious telling you that that's what you want to do. As a matter of fact, Freud's theory on dreams was that it was wish fulfillment. Okay, so it's like...
Yeah, I don't think that's
right?
true. I think it can be true.
But yeah,
I think it can be true.
Jung obviously disagreed with him, but that's my point, right? It's like... So even from a Freudian perspective, your dreams are still important because it's telling you something about what you want, right? It's telling you about a conscious experience that you want to have.
Well, no, I'm sure that that is the case in some of them, but like, I literally have dreams where I'm like, I do not want to have to do this, but it has to be done. Like there's things that, like, for instance, like, let's say you went to a party. I'm just gonna give you guys a random example. This is not the example at all. Let's say you go to a random party and there's like some really fun people over there and that crew is really vibing, but then you see somebody alone over there and you're like, can I go vibe with those people and leave that person by themselves? No, probably not. I should go hang out with that person that's by themselves. You don't really necessarily want to go over there, but maybe once you're over there, it's
you're
all right.
arguing against wish fulfillment?
Yeah, because I have dreams where I'm
Freud
like...
would just say you want to be the type of person that would do that. So there would be a desire underneath the desire. You want to be the type of person that would put yourself last and hang out with the person that you don't want to hang out with. So that's still a form of wish fulfillment.
Yeah, no, because what I'm doing in my dream, I don't want to be the type of person. I don't really care to be that type of person.
Yeah, Freud would say,
be like a nice
Freud
thing,
would
but
say,
not. I have no interest in being like that.
Yeah, Freud would say that your subconscious mind does though.
What if it was? Okay, let me.
I'm not a Freudian. I'm a lot more Jung. I'm a lot more Jung than Freud. I think it's a lot more complex. I don't believe that you can ultimately tell a person why they're dreaming. I think that that's something that I think that there are generalities. Like, I've done a lot of dream work with you, like, in the past, and we were able to get a pretty good understanding of what all the symbology in your dreams meant. But the deepest recesses of your mind, I don't think anybody can access that. Which is why your subconscious mind just sits there and waits.
That's really.
It just sits there and waits for your conscious mind to shut off so that it has an opportunity to say what it wants to say because it has its own agenda.
Okay, here's the thing. Do you think that, what about drugs and alcohol? Do you think that those are another form of, like, your subconscious was like, people will be like, I don't know, I was irresponsible, I was high. Yeah,
people, like, yeah, that Freud would say, yeah, that's just wish fulfillment. Like, you said that shit. You always wanted to say that shit, and the inebriation.
You always wanted to say that.
Yeah, and I think all of us believe that.
Yeah, but do you think that there's times where somebody will, like, because people use that excuse all the time.
This is a very long review. Holy shit.
I know.
Go ahead.
Like, people they'll get intoxicated, or I don't know. Maybe this is just I don't know people with these experiences. I'm just talking about, like, maybe I'm being influenced too much by movies and shows, which is really weird. But, like, people will say, like, they'll cheat on somebody and then they'll say, oh, it's because I was high or I was drunk or something like that. Do you think that, shoot, I don't remember what my question was going to be about that. Because you're saying all the way they wanted to do it from the beginning.
Well, Einstein's theory of relativity, you know how that happened? How? People think that Einstein was sitting there on a board. That came to him in a dream.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah. Einstein's great theory of relativity.
That's interesting, yeah.
That's the thing that's, like, fascinating to me about Einstein. It's like, bro, that shit came to you in a dream.
Yeah.
That was mentation.
Yeah.
You weren't sitting there doing whatever. Like, that came to you in a dream, my guy. There's been a bunch of inventions and shit that came about by people's dreams. Okay? So, that's what I'm saying. Like, the dream world is real. Like, he pulled the theory of relativity out of the dream world. He was dreaming about cows or something like that. And that's it. Look it up. It's true.
Oh, no, I believe it. I totally believe it.
Yeah, there it is right there. Einstein's theory of relativity came to him in a dream about cows. He dreamed that he was walking through a farm when he came upon some cows by an electric fence. He then saw the cows jump at the same time, and the fence gave them an electric shock, yada, 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 yada. So the theory of relativity got pulled out of the dream world. So you can't say that the dream world's not real. It's absolutely real. It's just, you just have to say in what sense is real. And at this point for me, real is if you have a conscious experience. So those people are really, that's real on DMT. Whatever's happening, that shit is real. That's real. Because they're having a conscious experience. They are interfacing with whatever. Yeah, it's all that's real. Now, you have to slice between metaphor and experience and all that. So there you go.
What an interesting.
Dreams teach. It's a shame we rarely can recall these lessons. I agree. I can't recall 90% of my dreams, and that's probably because they're mostly bad. Because the dreams that I do remember are usually bad. Like dreams I remembered a couple days ago were pretty bad. But so
Wish fulfillment, I guess.
Yeah.
Really? Was it?
Well, I mean, I definitely wanted to be in those situations, so
I have so many dreams that I don't want to be in that I just dream fulfillment. I think it's more complex, like you said.
I once came up with a melody and chords from a dream. See, that's the thing. It's like you can look
Came
at
up with what?
Einstein. Yeah,
Oh.
the dude from the Beatles, same thing. You can look at Einstein and say, well, he had all this math in his head and blah, 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 and his subconscious was simply organizing stuff that he already knew. But, like, how do you come up with completely new melodies that you never heard of before?
Yep.
People, believe what you want. All right. Please do some shrooms or LSD and expand your reality. Or you could just be reading a lot of Don Hoffman and Bernardo Kaschap and doing a lot of math. That will help you.
All right, so what do you give it?
Okay, I give this a solid 9 after all that review. That's probably the longest
exactly
review.
what I was going to give it too.
That's probably the longest review Vin and Sori have ever had.
Really?
Yeah, that's a pretty long review. I feel bad for the people.
Well, they can click out anytime they want.
That's true.
How many people are here? How many people stuck around with us?
It's a solid 9. It's a solid 9.
Yeah, that's
people.
what I gave it as well. I gave it a 9.
All right, we talked your guys' ear off. I'm very, very sorry. We went off the range. It is what it is. Nothing can be done about it. Much love to all you beautiful people. I'm probably actually gonna listen to more math right now, actually, because I just got empowered to keep listening to more math. Stay tuned. We got a mega stream tomorrow, you beautiful people. You don't remember your dream? I actually quit Red Bull 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah, it's been a while
That's
for
not the reason.
No. And I drink Red Bull, and I remember my dreams
All right,
Pretty
much love to
vividly.
all you beautiful people. Much love to all you people. Shout out to the big homie Kai. Shout out to all the beautiful people. We will see you guys tomorrow. We got a mega stream coming for you, beautiful people.
Yeah, it's a Secret Santa stream. It's so cute.
Secret Santa stream. We got the best people on the face of the mother planet. Finn